that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all the flesh shall see it together.
Oh man, don't that just
Man,
motivate
that's
you?
deep,
I know, man.
That is deep. That
It
is
do.
deep.
That thing gets you ready on
Get you
a
ready,
on
right?
a
Like,
Monday morning, man.
Man,
Oh
man.
man.
yeah.
All hell the king, man. All hell the king. Rest in peace. Remembrance to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., man.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man.
And I don't like, as far as holidays are considered, I don't know what all we ever do, to actually like celebrate MLK Day. And I wonder, I mean, I'm gonna ask y'all first off, I'm gonna ask y'all, like, what do y'all think like he would want like people to do to celebrate his day?
Man, that's a good question.
Well, I think what he'll want is kind of I say not necessarily on his birthday, but what we do as a nation just to remember, every time his birthday or anything come up, regardless of what you think about the situation, I think it brings up and make you think that this guy whole Martin Luther King whole thing was about a dream. You know what I mean? His dream. And you can't go through Martin Luther King Day without hearing a clip from that. If you watching TV, you doing anything, you're gonna hear a clip from that I had a dream speech. I mean, it don't matter where you could be riding your car, you gonna hear something on during this time frame on that. You know what I mean? On him. So I think the biggest thing is just keep people focused on the task at hand type deal. Every year during this time, somebody need to be a little bit of thinking about where we going, because we ain't there yet. As we already know, we're not there yet. So injustice, equality, talking about the dream speech itself, we still need to be head towards that. So I think during this time period, it kind of was always make us think about that, and that's kind of, I think, what he wants when he comes to his speech and come to his birthday.
I agree with you. I think it brings remembrance to your daily actions. Like, what is your plan? Like, where are you going? Like, what's your vision? And I think that, like, that I have a dream now. His dream was like being, honestly, when I think of it, it's like being real with yourself. Like, are you standing up for, what's right? Are you doing the things within inside yourself to bring somebody else up? You kind of get what I'm saying? And so I think it's like spreading that awareness of what he wanted, what I'm saying, what he did. It wasn't about him. It was about, what he could do for others and for especially for our race. And that's what I think about, especially coming from, the place to be in. Like, when I even thinking of sitting in the officer world, man, it's like when I was there, wasn't too many of us. But now, like he said, when he said sit at the table, bro. Like I just remember like sitting at the table, it's just only me, and it's a chance. I'm that when he said that part right there, that hit me hard, man, because it's one of the things that because he fought for that, I was able to be one of those people to sit at the table at that. You know what I'm saying? At this time of my life, and so now it's like, what am I doing for others to bring them up to that same way? So that's why I think his vision is like carrying that on and reaching back and holding people and pulling people to the future like he did.
And then we get to sit at these tables and actually have voices. You know what I mean? At times. For me, I think that he would want us to love somebody today. Like, just love on somebody today. Whether that be and most likely a stranger. You know what I mean? Like, tell somebody you love them. Somebody that might not look like you. You know, like y'all were saying, take care of somebody that might not look like you. And then when we sit at those tables, we need to represent the people that look like us, and we need to make sure we're thinking about the people that, don't look like us. One of the craziest things that I remember about MLK Day was it was on a ship. And we learned about Martin Luther King in high school and middle school and every school near Martin Luther King Day, right? They
Yeah.
teach about it, right? But we were on a ship, and I'm like, man, I know this, I know that. It's not much that I could really learn about, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But you forget how much, age kind of put things into perspective. So when I was young, when I was in school, I was always younger than pretty much however old MLK was when he, accomplished mostly everything he accomplished. Because I graduated high school, younger too. I wasn't really 18 yet. So, but the perspective that age gives you. So he was 15 when he graduated high school, right? He was 15 when he graduated high school. And I was listening to the sailors talk because we had an MLK Day celebration, which I happened to kind of stumble across being the leader, like in charge. It was like, well, who gonna do the celebration? Somebody was like, I heard it was you. I'm like, all right, well, it's me. But so when he graduated, but I'm listening, I'm like, man, like, and then they said he did the I Have a Dream speech in 1963, right? The crazy thing is he wasn't even gonna put I Have a Dream in that speech, right? But he did it in 1963. He was 34.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm 35. Yeah, he did I Have a Dream speech when he was 34 years old. And then he got the Nobel Peace Prize, the second African American to get it at 35. So he's of course when he got it, he was the youngest to get it. You know what I'm saying? Morehouse, like then he got his doctorate, all that, and then he was assassinated at 39. So everything we know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is up until the age of 39 years old.
Yeah.
Some of us past 39. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to figure life out. You know what I mean? This dude then got locked up, won Nobel Peace Prizes, like made so much history, and will be remembered. Statue in DC, remembered for the rest of American life and probably across the world. You know what I'm saying? And passed away at 39.
Let me tell you,
was assassinated.
man, what's really crazy about this thing, man, his age and the things he accomplished, man, was like, when I think about it, man, I think about the fact that how many times I've been in a room as a younger guy and was thinking like, I'm just trying to sit back here and let everything go. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to see me. I don't want nobody to do this. I hear everybody speaking. I hear everybody talking. I just want to be a fly on the wall type deal, right? And as I get older, now I'm kind of like, if somebody going to speak, I feel like it's going to be me. You know, as I done got older. But this guy was doing this stuff so young. You know what I mean? That's the fascinating part about this whole thing, man, on how he was way ahead of his time, man, on the things he was doing, the things he was talking about. Was like, and then think about the people who was following him. Who was following a 30-year-old guy? Who's following a 25-year-old guy? These people was following Martin Luther King. What kind of voice you need to have in this day for somebody to follow you like he was being followed? That's crazy when you think about it, man. You think back on it.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of people right now.
Yeah,
I mean, like at that point, like he was so definite and sure of himself, man. And I think like expect that as rare to see as a black man, especially today, like so sure of himself at that age. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember being like 20, 29, and I'm like, I don't even know, you know what I'm saying, what I want to eat for breakfast the next morning. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, like really, like I'm waking up like, dang, what I'm gonna do today? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And he had a plan, man. And it's like one of those things, like to be that self-aware at such a young age, man. It's just like your level of emotion. Think about how emotionally like awake, mostly like aware he had to be, because the way he responded to a lot of these things, man. Like I don't think I couldn't respond the way he did in such a loving like a way at that time, man. And they was on some trash stuff, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And for him to respond that way every time, like, I don't know, man. I just think, like you said, he just was way ahead of his time. Like,
yo, he was viral, like what we call viral right now. He was that. Like I think about like, podcast clips, and I think about stuff like that. And I'm like, we like like, let me hold back. Am I ready for,
Mm-hmm.
this much attention? I think about that a
Yeah.
lot with, some of the clips that come out about our podcast. Like, we recently had a clip that came out, and I'm like, if I knew if I pressed like a certain button, it might get like attention from like a certain place. And I said, I'm not going to press it. I'm going to let it just go organically. But honestly, though, to be honest, I didn't know if I was ready for that. Because when you do that, everything opens up. You go under the scope. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was under the scope all the time. He was under the scope. People was after him. The government, like a bunch of people was, he had a bunch of things, things about his personal life and, things that's like not so savory that people like to remember more than like you said earlier, Joe, when you said like it wasn't about him. It was about what he meant to, other people, but when you start to lead a movement like that, man, people gonna go over, everything you ever done,
Yeah.
and that's why I be
Yeah,
trying to put that's why I try to put my dirty laundry in the podcast.
No, you're right.
Because
Hey.
because if we ever do the old
Yeah,
tweets, they gonna come up.
Yeah. No
That's
doubt,
one
man.
thing.
So,
I mean,
and you
but
got to be brave for that.
you do, but you got to like it's a level of self growth. Like that one thing I've learned is just like getting older. I ain't as old as you, you know what I'm saying? Senior like
You older than me.
I mean, but you over there sitting about 45? Well,
he's sitting on dubs. He's sitting on dubs.
I'm not even. Hey, look, some things you don't have to even respond to, man. I have to
look at it.
I'm not even responding.
Nah, but like, what are the biggest thing I've learned is like it's about the more you work on yourself and grow, like and don't put the attention out there on other people. The more you grow yourself, the more influence you have, right? And so, and at that point, like you're able to hold those positions without having to worry about whatever's going on because your level of self-growth is so high and so aware. You see things coming that like most people don't even see coming. And then you see like people walking around, you're like, dang man, like you can tell who's aware, who, you know what I'm saying, who's sure of themselves, who's growing in themselves, and who's, working in their purpose and doing what they need to do, those type of things. So it's more about self-growth. And I think he understood that at such a young age that most of us didn't even like, I'm just learning that, you know what I'm saying? I'm 38.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God dang, man, like it's my growth. Is that what counts? That's what what that's when I begin to influence and things like that. So
yeah, man, that's a big thing right there, man. You talk about self growth, man. That's most definitely something that we always trying to work on. We always trying to get better at. And you're right, man. He had it young, but I tell you one thing, man, about like self growth, man, is like when we talking and we speaking, man, I couldn't imagine myself. Like I be sitting in rooms sometimes and people be asking me questions and I be like, man, 15 years ago, man, I wouldn't be in here right now. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be talking about this stuff right now. We talking about right now. So most definitely self-growth is a big deal, man. And it's real. And sometimes it comes with experience, sometimes it comes with age, sometimes it comes with, being in the room with people and talking and hearing and listening and sometimes that's one of the biggest things about it, just sitting back and listening. That's how you grow too. Sitting back and listening and see what people are talking about. Because you'll be surprised on some of this shit come out of people's mouths sometimes, man. So it'll most definitely make you sit back and think. And now the self growth, meaning I'm not sitting back and listening to this shit no more and letting them make it. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold up. You know what I mean? I'm throwing my hands up now. Like I'm gonna pause you now and say, what you mean by that? Back in the day, I probably let them make it. You know what I mean? Like let them go, let them keep talking. No, no, hold up. I need to explain what you're saying right now. You know what I'm saying?
And
right.
And I think that got to do with time, yo. I think the older we get, the more we see like time is limited. Like we not about to waste it. You know what I mean? I was sitting down with my wife last night watching a TV show, and this happens to me randomly. Like I just get this random thought, like, yo, we not gonna be here forever. Like in this space that we in right now, watching this, doing this, or whatever, at mid-30s or whatever, in great health, we're not gonna be here forever. We're gonna get older. A whole lot is gonna happen. And then it's over. It's somewhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? And you start to think about that, like, am I finished? Am I finished? And that's why I appreciate like how immediate like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was about like what he did. Like y'all said, like he was immediate. Like, oh man, like they said something to Rosa Parks about this bus. Let's go do something about it. Oh man, this happening over here in Selma. let's go do something about it. Like we got to get these things done because our time here is like limited. You know what I mean? And even though we always talk about, it's all these people dying and they're like passing away now, like 98, 99, 96. We always talk about how they lived a full life. But he lived a full life and passed away at 39. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a whole lot more work he could have done,
Yeah,
but he
man.
got a whole lot
Yeah,
done.
he
Yeah.
did.
You know what I'm saying?
And we talking about it right now. So
Yeah. And we'll be talking
Mhm.
about it
ever.
forever.
Ever. Yeah.
Like none of us would be here. I used to struggle with my black leaders, yo. I don't know if y'all want to get into that, but I used to struggle
Go
with
there.
like my black leaders. I used to struggle with the idea of Martin Luther King Jr. More so because I would put him up against the idea of Malcolm X. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I think I leaned more toward what I felt like Malcolm X was about than Martin at that time, because Malcolm X was going to chop you down. And I'm not talking about pro violence. I'm talking about
Yeah.
verbally. Like
Yeah.
he was going to
Mhm.
chop. I've seen him chop people
Yeah.
down. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. Like he had that fire. Like he was he would combat you too. He would like you're not gonna win a
Yeah.
war of words, a war of wit,
Mhm.
or nothing with him. And I like that, man. And so for some of my younger years, I could honestly say I didn't appreciate Dr. Martin Luther King as much as I do now.
Let me
So I will admit that.
you're right, man. Martin Luther King was a little bit different, but Malcolm X, man. Let me tell you, that's why I feel like they had to get rid of Malcolm X, man, because in a meeting, anywhere you be at, you're not winning when it comes to
Yeah.
those when you start to talking with him. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
knew you had to bring it, man. If you was talking about winning any type of conversation
yeah,
with
Yeah.
Malcolm X, you see some of the stories and some of the stuff you hear him when he talking about,
Mhm.
you wasn't
yeah,
winning, man. So I felt like, and I feel like the people who he was with and who was around, I think they knew too, though. And I think he even knew, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like you in a situation now, man. Everybody finna follow you. You know what I mean? And they
yeah,
ain't want
Mhm.
that. Then nobody want, somebody
Mhm.
following Malcolm X. They ain't want people following Martin Luther King like they was following him. So
Yeah.
back in that time too, man, that meant something. You know what I mean? That meant
yeah,
something back in that time. So yeah, man. Malcolm X, you're right, man. He was a beast, man, when it comes to stuff like that, man. Like you wasn't I
yeah,
I remember having conversations back in Mississippi, man, about like what I wasn't having a conversation, just listening to like my mom and my uncles and all of them just
Mhm.
talking. You know what I mean? Just having conversations about it, and it was just like they was talking about this stuff before. Like some of this stuff happened, like they people knew. You know what I mean? And this is Mississippi,
yeah,
where it's crazy already. So you know what I mean? It's a situation, man, where people always like when you come into like following people and who's the guy and who's this and back in the 40s and 50s, man, you couldn't they was watching that stuff. It was like
Yeah.
FBI was watching this stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, man.
you
Yeah.
had to watch it back in those times, man. So yeah, man, it's crazy, but you weren't winning no battle wits with Malcolm X, man.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying, man.
yeah. So we came a long way from
Mhm.
we like you said, like y'all both said, we still got a whole lot to go. We came a long way. I just want to, throw some flowers out there for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Mhm.
on his day. I didn't want to start our podcast off without remembering him. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
most
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
but with
Appreciate that.
no further ado, if you've been listening to the podcast, you've been hearing another voice. If you've been
Oh,
watching the podcast, you've been seeing another person. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Let the people know who you are.
All right. Well, I'm Joe Solomon. I guess I will first just say that I'm a husband, uh, and a father of two kids. That's what I enjoy the most about life. Um, but other than that, I don't know, man. I'm a person who loves life. I love to laugh. I love to joke. Uh, and whatever job that I do, that's just the role that I'm playing for that point right now. So the role that I'm playing right now is I'm an officer in the Navy. I'm a SWO. I was enlisted. Um, I
Mhm.
also own before that, I was a special ed teacher for elementary schools. And before that, I did a ton of jobs, and then also have my own business, fitness business. But it's the business is more about whole development as a person. So just not changing your outside, but changing who you are on the inside as well, in order to grow in life. And have a podcast that we run, Just Keep Living, and have another podcast coming out with a bunch of kids that we're doing as well. And I don't know, man. That's just about it. I'm ready for this next step in life. I get out in about 6 months, and
Mm.
that's about it.
I see a little smile cracking.
Oh man, a lot of smile, bro.
You ready for that next chapter?
I'm ready for the next chapter, man. I'm ready for the next chapter. If anything, life has taught me not to be attached to any role. As for my life, be attached to any role, because as soon as you are attached to that, and you try to, and I think that I am that, then life is like, nah, bro. Kind of sit down, and
Yeah, man.
and watch what's next. So it forces me to grow.
Yeah,
So I like it.
Life is too short to let like one thing define you.
man.
Mm-hmm.
We was talking about that on a podcast that we did that I think is out today. But how like the comedian Chaley Jr., the dude Chaley Jr., I want to say his name is, how he could be a comedian and he could be in the Navy. Like,
Yeah.
You don't have to not, do one of those things. Like if you have that talent and you got that potential, like live up to whatever. Because again, like we just talked about, like life is short.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Very short. And I tell you, you brought up a good thing about, being attached, man. And the thing about being attached, you could be, people walk by you every day, and when you in your uniform and salute you, man, they saluting you as a lieutenant. They not saluting Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
You're not saluting Joe, man. They
Yeah.
saluting that title and what you are right now. So it's just one of those things, man. You can't be attached to things, man. Somebody could be towing your bags one day, man. They could be towing your bags one day, man. And then the next day, when you're right, tow your own damn bags. Now when you Jody, tow your own damn bags.
That's that styrofoam cup, that TED Talk.
Yeah.
Hey, so it's funny because I like, I'm in my uniform sometime and I'm not on base, right? So I run into this first class, and when I'm in uniform, a lot of people speak like, "Hey, what's up, senior? Hey, what's going on?" You know what I'm saying? It's a different, vibe conversation. You know what I mean? So I remember running up to this first class, and I probably look like a first class age or whatever. I don't know. I think I look a little younger, but I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, you new here?" And I'm still talking like a senior chief. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, welcome aboard. He's like, he looking at me. He ain't saying that. He's like, yo, who? Like, he's like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, no, I work upstairs. yeah. I'm like, I work upstairs. I'm Senior McCullough, man. He's like, oh, Senior, hey, what's going on, man? But it happens so often, man. It's funny, yo. It's so funny. Hey, I got a question for you. You got a dog? You got dogs?
Yeah, man. I got this little. It ain't mine. I don't call it mine. It's my wife's little poodle little thing, man. I'd be ready to punt that thing over the gate, bro. I'd be like, man, yeah. I got a little dog, man. So.
And I know Damon got 3, right? So look.
Yeah,
Damon got 3
hold
of things.
Yeah, I got 3 dogs, man. But way, man. It's a problem too, man. Tell you the truth. But we wanted another one. So I got these bulldogs, man. I got a bulldog. So we wanted a girl bulldog. You know what I mean? Whatever, that have a little fun or whatever. And then when we got the girl bulldog, the guy hit us, and these dogs cost like $2,000-$3,000, right? The dude hit us up and said he can't sell the dog. Do we want him for free? So of course, man, I went up there and got him, man. It's a boy, man. Like, they some good looking dogs, man. But if it, how free and black, man, they go together, man. He said he's gonna get it to me.
Yeah.
He's probably right up there. Probably like there's like 10 minutes. Look.
On my way.
Yo. Gas it up.
God dang, bro.
Man.
Yo, these dogs, man.
I can't do no dog.
So I got Saint, right? That's my dog, Saint. And right now my wife is down, so she can't do anything. She can't really take care of him. So it's just me. Yo, I'm ready for him to run away. so
See,
bad, man.
see,
You know what I'm
man,
saying? I
yeah,
love him.
man.
Listen, like I love him or whatever,
Uh-uh.
right? Because I think I gotta say that.
Yeah,
But like, yo,
like you ain't got to.
this dude gets on my nerves,
Yeah.
like more than anything else. You know, he know he needed. It's cold outside, right? So he know he need a jacket to go
Oh no, he
outside.
don't know he
But
need it.
whenever I go to put the jacket on,
He don't wanna go
by
out.
at this point he gotta correlate the jacket with going out. You don't go out without it.
Oh,
Like so
man.
the only time so this dude the other day he go to the door. And whenever we sit down to eat, that's when he go to the door to let us know he gotta go to the bathroom, right? It could be a whole day. When me and my wife sit down to eat, that's when he starts scratching at the door to let us know he
He
gotta go
said,
to the
y'all
bathroom,
ain't
right?
taking my attention. Shit,
Right. Yeah. If
that's what it
if
is.
we kiss,
Yep.
hug, dance, fire in his eyes, man. You know what I mean? The fire. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, you know, but so this one day he's scratching at the door, right? So I gets up, I grab the vest. I'm like, all right, you know, you need this vest to go out, right? So he runs from the vest, man. It's like a 4-minute, you know, kind of circle around the crib. So I open the door and then stand in front of it with the vest, right? He dips off. I dip to find him. I see his ass running out the door, like on his own without the vest, man. I grab him, man. I grab him and throw that vest on, like try to throw the vest on
Yeah.
tough. You know what I mean? Like, put this vest on, man. Yo, this dude, man, he gets on my
That's why I can't
nerves,
deal with him,
man.
man.
But he always follow because she not feeding him right now. It's just me,
Mm.
so he always following me, man.
Yeah, man.
See, that's why I be like,
I wanted him to run away yesterday.
I be letting the dog out. Be like, hoping like some like, cause we have like coyotes bad. I be like, man, can a coyote just jump
Hey.
this motherfucking gate real quick? grab this thing down. And be like, yeah, I'll be going to the back door looking like, damn, can he not be here? Please. Like,
He'd be right there.
yep, looking at me with his eyes like,
Oh man.
that's funny. That's so funny, yo.
So how you doing with the 3, Damon?
Well,
I
man,
don't
let
see
me
how
tell
you can
you,
do it.
man, the 3 is expensive, man. You know, that dog food, man, because we got that, because you know, these dogs can be allergic to stuff or whatever, man. So we buy this certain dog food,
Yeah.
man. It's expensive as hell, man. Like, so every time I go, and it's 3 of them, and they eat like they fighting each other to eat. You know what I mean? Like they eat like one of them eat like it's 8 puppies there. You know what I mean? So he try to get in where he fit in, eating so
Yeah.
damn fast.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So he eating so damn, man.
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
about, dude.
hate that, man.
I'm talking
I
about
hate
just
that.
murdering that
dogs,
food,
man.
dude. I'm talking about just
hate
murdering that food, dude.
Why you mad at the dog for eating like?
Hey, Joe, man. Joe, look, man.
Got me mad
Look,
as hell, man.
so
Like
look,
this little shit.
look, let me tell you, man. Look, let me tell you. So we would pour the food, right? We would pour the food, and he already ready to attack.
Yeah, go.
So I trained him. So now I trained him. He gotta sit.
Yeah.
Like you're not just about to. When I pour this food, you're not about to try to run me over to eat this food, right? So he gotta sit until I say eat, right? So I got like 2 fingers. I point to the bowl and I say eat. But when he comes and eats, he devouring the food.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like
Yeah.
we don't feed him ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That-
like, yo,
every time he
dude.
jokes eat, that's how it be, man. Every time. So I was thinking like the older dog, right? Because the other 2, man, they are puppies and they're like four
Yeah.
months old, man. But they already about big as the oldest one, though. You know what I mean? They are growing like that fast, man. Right. So I'm thinking that, you know, he gonna be like, you know, snap on him. You know what I mean? Because he older or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, they be bullying his butt, man.
Yeah.
Like even with the food, like you know, when it come to food, though, you thinking like, okay, he gonna get on him on this food.
Yeah.
Man, they come over there, dude. They come in there and just move his ass out the way. Cause now I gotta separate them because they eat theirs in like 5 seconds. Then they come over
Then
there
they
and just
gonna
like
go,
move him out the way from his food, man.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. I thought he was gonna snap on him. He snapped on him one day though, man. But it was about a toy. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about the food. It's about a freaking toy. He like snapped on them, dude. Like he really put them in their place, man. It's like they don't. He snapped on them over a freaking toy, and I'm thinking about food. He don't care about that stuff, man.
No, man.
But yeah, man.
They serious about them toys,
Yeah.
and Saint he serious about them slippers, man.
What?
He go disappear for about an hour. If he disappear for an hour, he under the couch with a slipper.
With a slipper.
Slipper.
Those
Grimacing.
See,
you try to
man.
get it, he got the grimace,
Yeah, that's why I
man.
can't
Like,
do
yo,
that, man.
dude,
I just don't like
slipper
waking up and I'm going downstairs. I'm like, yo, what is that smell, man? Then in
Yeah,
some random corner is like a pile of crap just
Something
sitting there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, golly, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I can't keep cleaning this up.
Yeah,
I
then
got you.
they
I
like
got you, boys.
helpless.
Yeah. Then they looking at you like,
They be like helpless down.
Mhm.
They like, yo, like, what's up? Like, you
Yeah.
oh
How
man.
was the
So look,
how was the kids with it though, man? Because my kids, man, they'll go down there and clean the shit up, man, and half-ass clean it up and shit. Be pissing me
man,
off.
I only go there, bro. I don't even want to go there, bro. Cause God, I'll be like, y'all worse than a dog, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
my goodness, man.
they don't clean nothing up. The dog didn't do it. They look at it. They come tell me. I'm like, what you telling me? Go.
Yeah,
I
same way, man. I'm like, shit, you
I'm
gotta
in the
go smell
bed
that.
sleep. It's like I know I'm in the bed sleep. Like they come knocking on the door. The dog crap downstairs. I'm like, why are you telling me? Go
Yeah,
clean it up,
yeah,
man. Oh, it just
yeah,
don't
no,
click, man.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
the last time my dog shit in the house, it was the worst possible scenario. It wasn't just like poop on the floor I could scoop up. He had it like in the corner, cracked at a joint. If you swing something open, it's moving with the gate. I'm
Oh
like, yo,
Oh,
this
man.
see,
this
yeah,
dude,
man.
man.
See, then yeah,
Then it was like, I'm listening.
mine get mad and like he'll do stuff like he'll piss and like shit in the kennel and lay in it and just sit there. And then when you come
Mm.
get him out, he just looking at you.
Like, yo,
So
what's
I just
up?
pick the whole
Yo, you
cage
got
out and just sit it outside, and I be looking at him through the door like, like you're like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
It's funny.
I'm like, cause I can't let you out. I ain't let you run
Yeah,
around the house
Yeah.
yeah.
smelling like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, that's why I
See,
say
and
it's just
that
too
would make
much
you
work,
mad, right?
man.
That's a whole morning now, man. That's at least like you got to
Yeah.
take him out. You got to clean that up. You
Nah,
got to take
see,
him a bath. You got man, it's a whole day then, man. It's
I
a
just
whole
take
Yeah.
the
Then
morning
at the
go.
end of the day, like at the end of the day, you just feel bad. At the while you feel bad because you know they don't like think like
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Like they really don't got the reasoning skills like us. I be trying to negotiate with him, like yo, if you do this, I'm gonna like. It's
yeah,
like yeah. At the
nah,
while you gotta
see,
fold.
yeah.
All right, so look, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
yo.
Let's get into first off. Where are you from? Where are you from originally?
Man, I say I'm from all over, man. My dad was in the
Mm-hmm.
military, so I got most of my family's in like Jersey, Philly, and Delaware,
Mm-hmm.
that area. So, but I traveled the world at a young age. So I was born in Germany. I lived probably I can't remember. I've never lived anywhere for more than like I want to say 4 years. So,
Yeah.
from England to Colorado to Ohio, Texas, Virginia. I mean, I've lived them all, so I can't really say where I'm from. I say I'm
Yeah.
from everywhere, man. So,
Yeah. So how early did you know that you were going to be in the military?
oh man, I didn't want to go. I was the last place I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go because I saw my dad in it, man. And I was like, when I grew up, I was like, man, I ain't doing that crap, man. I'm not doing the military. And so I went to college, man. I was playing football. And then I got injured and ended up dropping out. And so I ended up finishing school. I went back to get my degree and became a teacher. But like around 2009, when the economy crashed, they started
Mm-hmm.
laying teachers off, and that's when I ended up joining the military. And so it was like one of those things, like, man, I got an English degree. What the hell am I doing with an English degree? You know what I mean? Like, and so
Yeah. Talk.
yeah,
Go talk.
I'm gonna go read books to
Do a
read.
podcast.
I'm gonna go read books to people in prison or something like that. I really couldn't think of nothing to do, man. Like, I wasn't creative back then, and
Mm-hmm.
so uh, and I think that all I knew was the military and teaching. That's what my mom and dad did, and that's crazy. Like when I
Yeah.
think about it now, like I try to expose my kids to so many job opportunities now, because me being in that situation, man, I was like, I'm stuck. I don't know where else to go, and only thing I knew was the military, man. And so that's how
Yeah.
it,
And I,
that's
and I'm thinking you had your eggs in that football basket early on before you got injured, right?
I did, but when I was playing college ball, man, I was like, man, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
I was like, man, I was like, damn, man, like I at some point I was just like, I don't want to do this, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But what happened really was my wife, who was my girl at the time, she got pregnant. We got married, and so when I got injured,
Yeah.
I dropped out. I said I got to take care of the family. I just dropped out of school. I had a full ride, man. Now I'm paying for nothing. And my end of my junior year, I dropped out, and I was just like, I was going to get in like different meaningless jobs, like working at fast food places, and I became the manager at Finish Line. So I thought I was doing big things, and I was like, man, this ain't enough money, bro.
Yeah.
This ain't enough money, man. I'm riding down the
Yeah.
road trying to run out of gas, all this type of stuff. I'm like, damn, this ain't the life. So I went back and finished.
Yeah.
I went back and finished school, but then I only find out that like I said, I was a teacher. I was like, I was all into that. And then when they were about to lay me off, I was like, fuck, man, I got change. And this is when my whole thing about change really began to hit me. So I went and tried to become an officer, but at that time, man, everybody was coming to the military. 2011, 2009, 2010. I mean, 2010, 2011. Everybody was coming in.
I didn't even think about that.
So when I was going to recruiting office, they were like, an English degree? That ain't nothing, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, what are we going to do with that? It was competitive. What are we going to do with that? So I'm just like, damn, man. I wanted to go to the Air Force because they don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad was playing, he playing ball all day. He'd come home. I'd be like, what'd you do? Playing ball. So I tried to go there and they was like, nah, man, too old, too this, too that. So there was like, we only got two things, man. We got the airplane community. I have something to do with airplanes and then the submarine community. I was like,
yeah, and this was all you trying to get in as an officer, right? This was all you trying to get in as an officer, vice enlisted.
So
you went with the English degree, and they told
looked,
you,
man, they looked at
what we gonna do with that? They held it up. Yo, they held that up. Well, that's like,
It was like
he said he had a.
They were like, what is this?
He said, what we gonna do with that?
What is this?
But my dude said he went to a job with a US map certificate, right? And it was like.
You telling me that don't mean nothing, man? Or you saying that don't mean nothing?
Look, man, to all the young listeners, man, get your US map because it might be different. This just his situation. This just his story. He said he showed it to the job, and they was like, "What's that?"
Man,
I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "That's my US map. United States." They was like, "Yeah, you can just put that back. You got to take this test."
That's crazy, man.
Yo.
And somewhere in the story, you make a decision to go enlisted, right? You make a decision to go enlisted.
I went enlisted, man. That was the hardest time of my life, man. Because I went from, that's the first time I like really had to start over. My wife was working, I was working. We was making good money because in Texas they pay teachers good, and I was special ed, so I got extra money on top of that. And when we left, they put us in Bangor, Washington, bro. I ain't never heard of this place. And
in there,
bro, 4 years, man. And when I left, I was on deployment. My wife, they just dropped her off. She had to go figure out where it was. So this was new for both of us. And man, the hardest part was, I was making good money. She was working, but when I joined, she had to stop working. So we lost like making over 80K a year just out of our pockets. Like, that's gone. So I'm like, damn, man, I don't know. We going on deployments and I can't do nothing because I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
been there too,
bro. Like, I'm like, damn.
You had a young kid, right?
Yeah.
Because you had a young kid. Yeah.
I had a kid who had Crohn's disease, who had a lot of stuff going on. But you got to remember, this was humbling for me because at this time, I'm 27. So I come in and I'm scrubbing toilets. Yeah. I just had a job, like, you know what I'm saying, where felt like, I was doing my thing. But I come in and now somebody who's like 21, hey, bro, here you go.
Yeah.
And I gotta be like, all right, man, like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying, like, so it humbled me real fast, to be honest. Like,
what was your rate?
I was an FT, fire control technician.
So, and you came in as an E1,
E3.
Because
that English. The
English degree paid off, man.
The degree got you that E3. That degree got you.
That English degree paid off, man.
That degree got you that E3, man.
Bro, I was like, shit, man. Like, all this work to get this goddamn paper, man. Like, but no, man. It was crazy, yeah, man. So I did that, and then I became a diver. So I went to dive school. And,
okay. And you became a Navy diver, like by rate? That was your rate?
I was a scuba diver. Mm-hmm.
All right. So not SAR swimmer, not like SAR swimmer, like an actual I
was an actual diver. I went to actually that same school that down in Panama, down in Panama City, the Carbon Shears.
Yeah,
down there. Yeah, I went down there.
Yeah, the school from the movie.
Yeah, the school from the movie. Man.
So
go ahead.
How was that? How was that experience,
bruh? Man, like. It won't like the movie, but it was because there won't no black people down there, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like, I want to say out of like probably out of like 500 people, you know, it was probably like 3 of us, 2 of us. And so
Crazy.
that was rough, man. I was down there and I didn't have nobody to go with. So I'm sitting like, usually when you go to school like that, for us, they would go in pairs. But you know, when you go, because you got the EOD guys down there, it's the same thing to SEAL guys take the same things like, you know, regular Navy divers. And you got all that whole dive community. And so I remember just going down there, like I'm the only black dude, really. And so I'm sitting in the class, and I'm like, damn, I don't know nobody. Nobody from my ship came, from my sub came, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this. And so like when we started doing all the water stuff, like I was cool with it because my dad, we grew up. My dad was just always in the water. We played like sharks minnows. We was always doing that type of stuff. But when they would start doing like treading water and all this type of stuff, man, I'm a big black dude. I sink, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so the first day when I get there, they tie your hands behind your back and your feet, and you got to drown proof. Like, you know, you for like, I think it was 15, 20 minutes. You just got to sit there in the water, like, and float and come up to the top. But I'm sinking all the way down to like, I think it was 15 feet and coming up for like 20 minutes. And the first day they trying to kick me out. And the only reason I stayed is the master diver came out and said, look, he not gonna float, man. Just leave him alone as long as you don't panic. Let him stay. Let him stay, man. I was like,
He not
thank
gonna
God.
float.
Yo, man. It was like 5 of them around me, man. I'm like, God, dude, don't you see I'm trying to float? I can't float. You know me. I'm like, I
Yeah.
lift weights. I don't, and that's another reason I didn't think I was gonna last. But you know, I ended up going, man, end up passing. And it was an experience, man. It taught me to be like, the whole experience taught me to rely on myself, man. Like, you know, nobody else gonna do it for you. So you gotta figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, because it ain't that many black people in that community
Oh
from
no.
what I've seen. It ain't that many black
No.
dudes in that community, you know, men or women.
Yeah.
Oh.
So from what I've seen, so even after you finish school, you still probably one of a few, right? No
Yeah.
matter where you
And
went.
no matter, man. You look at the dive community, there's not many, you know, at all. And it's mentally tough, man. We can do it. We don't grow up in areas where it's presented enough, I think, for that to happen. You kind of get what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
my dad was a dude that like, he taught me how to play like table tennis. We would play not these random sports, man. Like, you know, and so we would always be in the pool playing sharks and minnows, you know, 12 feet, you know, where you try to swim at the bottom, go across, but the person got to come down and tackle
Mm-hmm.
you and hold you down till you can't breathe. You got to go for air. So we play like stuff like that growing up. So dive school was really fun for me, but it was when you're mentally tough, it's like, you know, and you got to learn to do it on your own. I think it just makes you grow, man. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it
Like
was,
it's nobody to like leave class and go to your dorm or your barracks
yeah,
and
you
like
can't. You go to,
complain about
Yeah.
school with or study with or something, like somebody
yeah.
that you relate to, like y'all could talk, y'all
Yeah,
could,
bro.
like that's
That's what it
crazy.
was. That's what was hard. But you know what? You know why I
It's
went,
crazy.
man? This it was a senior chief on my boat, man. And when I was on subs, like you gotta realize I'm 27. I got a family to feed. I'm trying to rank up to get money. So I got my dolphins fast, like so fast. I got them so fast that they thought I was cheating. So that whole like the master I remember our cob, the captain, all the people sat on my board because they thought they was drilling me, man, because they thought I was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my dolphins, and then I went down. I used to smoke real bad, like smoke cigarettes when I first got into the Navy. And the senior chief, we were out there smoking one day, and we needed an extra diver, and the captain asked me to go because they were doing something. They were doing the PST, and I just jumped in because I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I don't really care." They said you can't swim, and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna show y'all up." So I swam. I passed it. I was the only one that passed it right out of the whole boat. And so we were about to go. We was about to go on deployment, and the captain was like, "Hey, we need a diver." And he was like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't really want to. I don't want to do that." I was out smoking, and the senior chief was like, he he was like, you won't be able to pass anyway. So don't even worry about it. I'm glad you said no. And he really meant it. He ain't like me. He ain't like me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all
Yeah.
right, man. I was like, all right, fuck this, sure. I put it down, and I was like, all right. I told the captain that same day. I was like, all right, I'll go. And so I went, and that was my motivation for not quitting and not going back. Like I think the attrition rate's like over 40% per class. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd
Yeah.
wake up, and people would just be not there,
Gone.
gone. So That was an
That's
experience,
crazy,
man.
man. Because it's one of the things we kind of don't talk about that much is people out there that just don't like you. Like there's
Yeah.
people out there that just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we don't
it's
talk about
weird.
that
No,
that
we
much.
don't.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-mm.
it's you might not have a fair shot all the
Yeah.
time. You
But
might have a leader, somebody in charge of you that don't like you.
you know what's crazy, man, is about it's to me, it's not about the people who don't like me. It's about the people who
Mhm.
smile in my face and don't like me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Those the
Yeah.
ones, man, that get me. If you don't like me, it's cool because everybody ain't gonna like you. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
cool. But the ones that's
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up, man? Blah, blah, blah. Then go right behind your back
Yeah.
and
On your
talk shit
back.
about you, man. Those are the ones that get to me, man. Uh,
Yeah, man. But you just can't be in that leadership position and be
yeah,
biased.
man.
You know what I mean?
You
Like
know.
we seeing it. We seeing a lot of it. Judges,
Mm-hmm.
commanding officers. We seeing a lot of it now, and it's hard. You cannot be biased in a leadership
That's
position.
true. That's true, man.
That's why I didn't really like. I think the Navy woke me up to a lot of that because you sleeping on the ship with these people, and it all comes full
Yeah.
circle. Like when you at a job, you go home in civilian world, you get out, you go somewhere. But like when we when you sleeping with somebody and then you know what I'm saying, like every day you see that person, like work it back. And I started to realize, like, dang man, you can't tell everybody everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Dang man, like
Yeah.
it make you grow, like in a sense of like you said, like not everybody. There's people that will smile in your face, really, and then really stab you in the back, like in the same breath, bro. I'd be like,
yeah,
golly, like y'all people really like that, man. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
crazy, man. I didn't experience a lot of that till I got to the Navy, because like I said, when you go home in the civilian world, like I don't deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really see you, but on the
yeah,
ship, like
Yeah. Like outside of
yeah, outside of work,
work, we see each other
yeah,
at work. And that's
yeah.
it.
So I might tell you
Yeah.
something, but like it ain't gonna come. I might say something about you, but it ain't gonna come back to me. So
yeah.
yeah,
Hey, I
Yeah.
got a question for you, Joe.
So
Real quick,
yo,
man. Kind of go back a little bit. You went to college, in the beginning. So me, man, when I was in high school, I was trying to get out of school, man. That's one of the biggest thing. I joined the Navy, man. I don't want to go to
for
college. I
real.
don't want to do nothing. I want to get this money, whatever what the case may be. But how was that, man? In school, every day, full ride, dealing with school, um, every day, like an everyday lifestyle.
I was like,
You know,
I,
how was that lifestyle?
yeah.
Just doing that every day.
It was, to me, it was fun, man, because like I don't like the school part. My mom was a teacher, so like I knew how to deal with that. Like the what I didn't know how to deal with was kind of overwhelming for me, man, is the 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 social life. See, because I grew up in a real strict like Christian, home. And so when you get out to school, like I'm going to this mainly almost all white, college with, now I'm a black athlete there. You kind of get what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? I'm looking like, well, dang,
yeah, I
boy,
get
it's
it.
about to be open game around here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah, man.
that was the part that I wasn't prepared for, you know what I mean? And like I wasn't prepared for like I saw different lifestyles, but I never got to live it because my parents were like, "Oh, you gotta stay here. You gotta do this. This is a Christian way." Blah blah
Mhm.
blah. So that was the part for me. So waking up every day, because we get up, have practice, you know, go to school. School was easy. Like it wasn't easy. I just knew the routine, and then
Yeah,
go practice again and stuff like that. I just didn't know how to balance the other stuff outside of that, because it was like easy getting to school, like writing stuff. I mean, I could write all day, do math work, or you find somebody to help you. That's all.
yeah,
That's all I got through.
yeah,
But like getting up, like the weekends, man. You talk about like, oh, like dang, like I had never lived that life, so I went crazy, man. I went buck wild,
Yeah,
bro. I was
party.
out there wilding like crazy, and so I think that's what I didn't know how to balance that. I think that was the hard part for me, was just like reeling it all in. Like, Joe, you got to have like work life balance. You know what I mean? It's like you just can't go out there and play hard all the time, and so I think it caught up with me after a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a lot of people. I mean, and I was talking to my wife about it because she was talking to me about my early years in the Navy, like
Hmm.
from like 20 to whatever, 20 to like 24, 25. I'm like, it's probably not that much different than college when you out of work. I mean, or when you out of class,
Yeah,
like being out of work, in the Navy, off deployment, even
yeah.
on deployments. I got videos from on deployments,
Hmm.
crazy stuff, just fun we was having.
Yeah,
But when you give young people that freedom, they gonna live.
yeah. They're
yeah.
gonna do
You
it.
know what I
No
mean?
doubt, man.
I,
Yeah, I
I
think. I'm listening.
I think when I think the difference is now is like I try to do more with my kids and give them more freedom now, and
Hmm.
also equip them with like more things to teach them. Like, all right, this is when I know I'm going overboard. I just think that like as a growing up when I was a kid, my parents didn't allow me the freedom to trip up and mess up, so I didn't know how to make decisions growing up.
Right.
I wasn't a good decision maker at all. And I think that's a lot of times when we see a lot of y'all in leadership, when you see a lot of people, they just don't know how to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of the time growing up, we're put in situations where we have to learn to make decisions, and then come back and sit down back at the table and be like, look, man, what was your thought process? What were you
Yeah.
thinking? Like, what was going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm big heavy on now with like, I, started with these young boys is decision making, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times it's like, you got to teach them how to make decisions. I didn't know how to make decisions.
Yeah.
So when I was confronted with stuff, like they was like, you didn't understand. You didn't know that. I'm like, no, I didn't know. Like, I
Yeah.
really am, but I think a lot of people expect you to know what's in their head. Like, my parents are growing up. Like, why didn't you think about that? Think about what? You ain't telling me what to think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and I'm getting hit. Like, golly, like, why you hit me? Like,
No.
but I just didn't understand. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's a lot. Like you were saying, in college, when I was in college, I was not a good decision maker. I was good at what
Mhm.
routine. I was good at routine. I knew how to get up and make my bed and, go to school and, do that. That's what felt right. But when it came to making decisions about life, about what really matters, I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Hey man,
That's why I
that's big
struggled.
right there, man. That's big because I think that goes on with a lot of the younger generations now. And I say younger generation like my kids. What I mean is like
Hmm.
they decision making is kind of, I'd be like, you can think of that. You needed me to tell
Yeah,
you that, and sometimes but then
it is.
now you what you bring up is just so important, man, because that's what I think about. I think about I'm so
Mm-hmm.
structured here at home. I make all the decisions when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to them, and maybe I'm holding them
Mm-hmm.
back when it comes. That's probably why
Well,
they
Mhm.
can't make the decision. I think
they
about that
can't
stuff
make
all the
that.
time.
No,
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think that's so true, man. You have to like as parents we're taught to like take our kids and be like, uh, do this and go here and do this. Like, man, like when I saw that, I didn't know how to think on my own because everybody was thinking for me. Then you put me in a situation when I have to think. Like, you never taught me how to think.
You like,
You
what
never taught me.
yeah,
yeah. Like, what do
I
I
don't
do?
yeah,
even know. I don't know what it
What do
feel
I
like.
do?
I don't know what it feel
yeah,
like. So, and I have this saying that like, if you don't learn yourself and learn the decisions, how to decision make at a young age, it comes at a high price the older you get because the stakes are a lot higher at that age. You kind of get what I'm
yes,
saying?
Oh yeah.
So
yes,
when
Yeah.
I'm like, when I started my business, man, I was making mistakes left and right, all because of simple decision making that I didn't know about. I didn't know,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
I'm losing like 40,000 here, 10,000. I'm talking about big money, bro. But
Yeah.
I'm tired of being stuck in the situation I'm at. So I have to go learn how to make these things. I gotta fall. I gotta mess up. Things
yeah,
gotta happen. And at some point, I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather do this now than regret it when I'm like on my deathbed.
yeah,
So
Yo.
I take my kids now and I make them make decisions. Like the other day, my son got in trouble, and I said he was coming to I can't remember what he did, but I told, hey, in this situation, he got in trouble because of some situation. I said, in this situation, I want you to tell me, like, write down 5 reasons why or how you can get out of this situation or to prevent this situation from happening, just to give you other
Happening. Yeah.
options. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Write down 5. He couldn't even come up with 2.
Hmm.
I'm
yeah,
like, it was a thing I had to learn. Like, man, I gotta like, it's Joe. Like, he's a reflection of your environment. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing in your environment? So I realized I had to sit down and make this dude. And he don't, and that's why like he don't read, he don't do, none of that stuff that enlightens him. He don't want to. That's going to give you vocabulary and words and things like. He don't want to sit down and do it. So this was
Yeah.
literally last night. I said, give me 5 reasons. We sat down here for like 2-3 hours. Him trying to think because he can't think outside the box. He
Yeah.
can't think, man. So I'm just like, it was crazy, man.
And then a lot of that ownership, it comes with age, man. When we hit like a certain age, because I talk to some like a lot of junior sellers, and sometimes I get like so surprised when they do something that like I feel like they should know like ways to do it better. Like, and I'm like, yo, like you ain't, and they like, nah, I was wrong, or this happened to me, or I can't help but do this. I'm like, yo, it's a lot of, and then I'm thinking like, is it like with my age when I was 20, did I like think everything was like somebody else's fault? You know what I mean? So I think some of it, got, but it's funny you did bring up like falling when you're young, right?
Yeah.
And I think about that like literally, right? Like if you fell when I was like 11, 12 and I fell, I might have like scraped my knee up, had a little scab that I could pick on and whatever, but I was good to go.
Yeah.
Yo, at this age now, like if you fall now, if you fall down, that's a lifelong injury.
Bro, you ain't lying. You dealing with that shit. That's why I'm playing them intramural sports. They be like, y'all coming to play? I'm like, nah, bro. Nah, I ain't going out there today.
I can't. Like, you gotta be. Look, I got a lifelong injury. My knee is injured forever, and I don't even know how it happened. Like it's just injured, bro. Like think about when we was young, man. Like we used to
you could do it. You could bounce back.
Yo, when I was young, I used to go to the woods. You know what I mean? Like just out of just the blue. Like, yo, I go to the woods. Let's climb a tree. You know what I mean? Like at this age now, I'm not stepping into the woods. If I do, I need boots. I need a jacket. I need like protective gear, flashlights.
I'm talking about
extra food,
for
water.
real, man. For real. Elbow pads, knee pads.
Yeah, man. So I think that safety and that protection, I think that state of mind, man, I think it come with age. And you ever see kids at the zoo by the lion's cage and like how like happy they look? But the parents kind of got them gripped up. Like, yo, this ain't, because they don't even know the danger. They watching Madagascar or whatever cartoon they watching to think this lion about to sing and dance. But you know what I'm saying? But let's get back to so at this point now you are a diver, right? You're a diver.
Yeah.
I was I'm listening.
It was a dual race, so I was a diver and an FT. So I got to dive.
Okay,
I got to like lock out with the SEALs. So when they would go out and do their mission, to help get them ready, I was diving underwater, like to clean our pit swords. I would do a bunch of diving.
That's the submarines, right? On the submarine side, they did together like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha. So how long had you been in by that time?
2.5 years. 2 years.
Okay, so 2 years. So you are almost 30, like 29.
Yeah, I'm like, that was rough, man. You're talking about aching, trying to get up. Yeah, that was rough. So
yeah, but I mean, the beauty is you didn't have to learn some of those lessons that we talked about for some of the others, younger people. You already had some maturity and you learned some of those lessons in college.
Yeah, I learned a lot of those lessons in college. I just had more. I had more to work for. Having a wife and having kids at home, I couldn't be the failure. I couldn't go home and failure. Nothing I could do could be a failure. So that helped me to wake up every day and be like, look, man, this got to happen. No matter how much it sucks, I got to get it done. You know what I mean? It's going to happen that way. So, but I did learn those lessons. And then by that time I did 4 years. When 4 years was done, I was ready to, I was thinking about the money, man. I'm like, man, I need to put in this officer package. People talking about, because the only way to get off submarines was really to put in the package or get out, and they're hiring SWOs at the time. And I'm like, man, that can't be that bad. Shoot, I'm gonna make more money. And so I put the paper in, and I ended up getting picked up. Like, so I didn't even go to shore duty. I was finishing up my 4th year, about to go to shore duty, and they picked me up. So I went, this is my first shore duty. I think I did 8 or 9 straight at sea. And then once I put in my paperwork and I went to go into, I went to OCS, I went straight back to the ship.
Yeah. So before this, back to before this real quick. Did you have a mentor?
Nah, man. I didn't have a mentor at all. I didn't have I had a guy who took me under his wing. Like, he was a lieutenant at the time, and he's out now. he owns this. He owns his own company. He has Fat and Weird Cookie. He had the clothing company. If you see my social media, you always see me like rocking his gear and stuff. But at the time, I saw the way he thought. Like he was he took me in his wing because he saw that like I worked out. Barely anybody on sub worked out. He liked my work ethic. And so he was like, yo, he was like, you know, anything you need, you know, he was hooking me up, man. Like we go out on deployments and I didn't really have to, you know, pay for nothing. I know it was like at the point like, okay, fraternization, but whatever. But he would just help me out because he knew he saw I was older, man. He was like, I'll be sitting on the sub, like, fuck, I can't go nowhere, man. Because I take this money out the bank. They ain't got no gas money, they ain't got no food. You kind of get what I'm saying? We still had a house in Texas that we were trying to offload, but we couldn't get rid of. There was a lot going on. So he would just help me out, man. He would take me to places. We go out, we chill, stuff like that. But he would always, like, you know what I'm saying? He always would tell me, look, man, I like your work ethic. You always just find a way to figure it out. He's like, you know, just figure it out. So when I was about to put in my officer package, he got me in touch with the commander, the commodore of the base. And so he had just got off the boards of writing and of like picking people for, you know, to go to OCS, all this other type of stuff. So he knew a lot of people back in Millington. So he put like number one, blah, 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 this type of stuff. And I put the paper in. He was like, you'll get it. And I was like, all right. And so I ended up getting picked up at that time because I didn't have nobody to help me really at that point. And the Navy was new, man. I'm like, this is the Navy? Man, it's some weird stuff, bro. Like, this ain't normal life. Like, this ain't like, this stuff is not normal. You know, I go from freedom to be on a sub for 4 months at a time, like, you know, under the water. Like, what? Like, that's going to prison, man. I'm like, I'm like doing my bid, bro. Like, dang, man. I don't get to email my wife. We have been married for 6 years at the time. So that's all cut off. I ain't talking to her. I ain't talking to, you know, I'm like, man, this is like, crazy. This is weird, man. This is weird, bro. Like, I was like, I don't know how I'm dealing with this right now. And so,
were y'all hot racking? I know people always wonder, like, that. You was hot rack?
When sometimes when the divers would come, we would have a hot rack. Yeah, we'd hot rack, man.
You work 12 and 12 or something? 12 and 12? 12 on, 12 working, some shit like that?
18, it was 18-hour days. So 6, 6, and 6. 6 hours working, 6 hours off watch, 6 hours in the rack.
Was 3 of y'all to the rack? 3 of y'all to a rack?
It could be 3 or 2. Depends. But but when the divers went on, we didn't have to. But you know, you get somebody who stink, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You be like, God damn, bro. Come on, man.
You gotta have that conversation, man. You gotta have that conversation,
man, bro. Yeah, so I was like, man, like, you gotta take your socks off, bro. Like,
yeah, for real,
bro. Like, that was crazy, man.
It's gonna be so fun. It's funny because you talked about being broke on deployment, man. On my first deployment, I was broke. I was but mine wasn't like yours. You know, you had responsibilities. You had things that you had going on that mattered in life. Me, man, I wanted a PlayStation and a TV. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they got that place down the road that they say don't go to. It ain't rent a center. It's worse. You know what I mean?
They looking for people just like you.
Hey, they like, yo, don't go. They like, you could get yourself a PlayStation, probably. You could get yourself a TV, but don't go. I'm like, oh, you could get it? Let me go check them out. I ain't got no credit. Right? So I go to the spot.
Oh, man.
And I grabbed the PlayStation, I grabbed the TV. But the thing was that you only could go in to make payments. And that's such an inconvenience. What? I'm like, oh, you can only, it was like a way to switch to direct, there's a way to switch to them for the allotments, but it was like hard to do.
Weird, bro.
So you had to go in to do that. You had to go in to set that up, right? And I'm like, it was too far. Only needed that place for one trip, and that was to get the PlayStation and get the TV. No other trips.
Where's this at? So, first of all, hold on. Where are you at, yo?
This Norfolk, this Virginia.
Oh,
like,
sound right.
You know, they got like that whole strip is somebody trying to get you on that whole strip. So I wound up. I got the stuff, but we wound up going on deployment, and I thought I set up the payment, but I didn't. Right. So I get this letter, and they like, yeah, you know, you haven't been. Now, you know, the AP, the percentage is crazy. Like it's the interest is like sick, right? So they're like, yeah, you haven't paid off your PlayStation and your TV, so we just gonna start taking your money. You know what I mean? So like, so they just start taking the checks. So I wasn't really even getting checks, man. And I know like some of my friends probably was like, yo, why this dude never want to go on Liberty? You know what I mean? Because like you was just talking about it, right? He's like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. I ain't gonna go. But that's how I used to be like, yo, Dom, you coming? Like, nah, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm gonna just chill on the shit, probably read a book. Like, yo, why does dude want to read a book? like little do y'all know, these dudes is taking my
money.
whole check,
bro.
and I'm only getting like six. You know, this is
Yeah.
back in the day. We making like 600-700 every 2 weeks, and I know that had to be crazy for you with a wife and a kid, going from making whatever you was making as a teacher, whatever salary that was that you was making, to making whatever that you
crazy,
was making.
Man. I couldn't believe it, man. I think in teachers, I was making in Texas, I was making about 65, and my wife was pulling in like another, I don't know, 30, 20, you know what I'm saying? So we were making clothes. We were living good, man.
Yeah.
And then
you get cost of living
was cheap, you know what I mean? I'm living good, bro. And then like my wife, like, you know, we get that first check. I say, well, God dang, I don't know what we're gonna do. Shit, like I'm about to go work on the corner somewhere. Like,
scratching.
I gotta tell you my broke deployment stories, man. So, so my first deployment, I broke too, right? But check this out, man. My story was a little crazy though, man, because I came out of boot camp, man. So I was undesignated, right? So I went straight to the ship. Right, I did little 2 weeks, little whatever they had in Great Lakes. They sent me straight to the ship. So, time I graduated boot camp, found this kind of way, man. Figured it out. I done got married to my high school girlfriend. Right. So, okay, you know how you get them moments, man. You don't want to leave nobody behind, type moments, you know, and blah blah blah. So we end up getting married. Boom. I go to the ship. Time I get to the ship, I got to the ship in like August, like October time frame. We go on deployment. Right, so I'm going out there on deployment, and man, this girl, she got access to all my shit, man, like everything, man. Right, so we get out there, man, and I'm like, we didn't even pull in the beginning. We on a deployment where we pulling in. We going to like 13 to 15 ports, right? So it's the real deal back in then. This was like 99, you know what I mean? So we up in freaking pulling in these places and stuff, man. And every time we pull in, or we get that what they call a desert duck with the mail come in, I'm getting bad checks. Right, you know, you usually get those statements. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys know anything about getting the statements from the mail thing.
Yeah, when you're
every time we pull in, I am getting like 6-7 of these things. Right, meaning my account is done and she going over you know what I mean, over with these checks. So now I'm getting bad checks, so now I'm getting money added to what I already don't have. So one day, man, like I'm getting them, and I'm not going anywhere either, man. I'm telling the same little stories you guys tell. Yeah, man, I'm chilling. I'm talking about, man, we hit some good spots too, man. I'm chilling. I'm chilling, man. I ain't going nowhere, man. Blah blah, right? Man. So one day, man, we it's like 3 months in deployment. And my freaking chief, and I had this chief dude, he was like, he kind of like one of those guys that kind of like ran the ship. You know what I mean? He wasn't the guy, but he was one of those guys that everybody respected, everybody, whatever. And I guess, man, whoever was a postal clerk finally gave him to him, man. So he comes into the little, and I was on frigate. So everybody know, you know what I mean? Nobody don't know what's going on. It's on small ship. This dude come into the general workshop, and he kicks everybody out of general workshop, right? And he come to he had like 6 of them in his hand. He said, I know what the fuck this is. You know what I mean? He told me like that, I know what this is. He said, time we pull in to Bahrain, you go and change your freaking bank, change your what they call it, your direct deposit. You know, and so he took me in there, man, changed my direct deposit, and I was good to go for the last 3 months, man, of deployment.
But you missed all them ports.
Yeah, dude. Every time we pull in, dude, I was getting killed, man. Killed, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
the funniest part of the story is that he knew what it was.
Yeah. He came in there, he knew what it was. And then it wasn't him, because you know the thing about it is it had to be the postal clerk knew who it was too, because he gave it to, you know, me and my chief. Because ain't nobody come to me like say, ain't nobody come to me and was like, "Hey man, we got this message from people saying your account like this." No,
Yeah.
they came in with those little slips, man. He knew what those little slips was, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But that was, hey, I tell you
'Cause
what. To this day, I know this guy, man. This chief. To this day, man, he'll like hit me up out of the blue or whatever, ask me how I'm doing. Like that was really back in the day where you can be able to take care of motherfuckers, man. He took me over. He took time out his day. Time we pulled in the ship. I'm talking about, man. He left the ship with me while people were still working.
Yeah.
Time we pulled in, he was like, "Hey, let's go." Boom. So me and him was off the ship together. And I'm telling you, man, like when I say this, man, like these motherfuckers in the chief, man, all of them knew it too, man. Then after that, everybody started saying, "You all right? You remember what the fuck you asking me about my right?"
Yeah, he was like,
"Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm good." So we went there and told that whole story in the chief.
yeah,
man.
Hey, man. That's true leadership,
the
man.
best thing about being broke, on deployment though, is that you could get your quals, man. Like
that's why he qual so fast, bro.
Yeah,
you get qualled
I called
up.
up San
I
Way,
started
man.
thinking about why I qualified.
E-Swaps was so fast. I was like I was E2, but I was qualified E-Swaps, man. You're right, man. Quals came
That's how you
fast.
qual.
Man, you wanna get your quals? Let them take like 6 of your checks away,
You ain't
man.
got
You make
nothing
some
like,
money.
yup,
Man.
exactly.
Yep.
That's so funny, man.
So how was OCS?
It was cake to me, man. Like I have been through a lot already. So when people go into OCS, they be crying and shit. I be like, man, what the hell you crying for, man? It's not even real life. Just like we playing games right now, man. Like you crying over games, like So they be in there. I'd be like, I was cool. OCS was a breeze. It was a breeze to me because I had been to dive school already. I had been to boot camp already. So going through there, I kind of knew what the Navy was already going to be like, and then I had been through life already. So I was like, damn, this sun coming up. So I was chilling, man. But it was what 3 months? I think 3 months of just getting yelled at for being sleepy, But I think at that time, it was easy for me because I think at that time I was able to like take myself out of the situation and see it for what it really was. I think a lot of people can't do that. So you see them being like start cracking under pressure, like man, like you can't, bro. This is not really it, man. Like learn the lesson. Like you're not gonna like life can be hard, bro. Life can be hard. Don't get married with no kids, man. You crying over this? Man, don't like you know.
Hey, did they
like,
use you? Did they use because you had been in for a while? Did they try to use you to help people out? Not really.
Yeah, they did. They did that when I was in boot camp and at OCS. Yeah, because it's stuff didn't phase me at that point. You know what I mean? Like, and I said I done lost all the money in the world. I done went from the top to the bottom. I was scrubbing toilets. You know what I'm saying? I like it just didn't like at this point. It was just like it is what it is, man. Like and so, so they were like, hey, we kind of need you to care, and I was like, okay. I was like, I can do that. Yeah. I can do that. Because at this point in my mind, I'm just thinking like in OCS, I'm like, man, you know what? My mission is to do this, and I don't want like what I'm saying. I don't care about nothing else. I got family at home. I need to make money, and I'm just going to get through this. Like, no emotions. You're not going to phase me. So, but they would put me aside and be like, hey, I need you to like care so we can teach these other guys. So I was like, all right, I can do that. And so, that's how I kind of got through that stuff. So,
it was a classroom aspect to it as well, right?
Yeah, it was a classroom. It was a lot of classroom. It was just, you know what they would do? They would just try to make you tired and make you try to reach unrealistic goals and measures. So beat you down. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need you. The same thing. I need you to be at this class at this time, ready to go, but you only got 2.5 minutes. Boom, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, well, man, that's me all the time. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I wake up at 10 o'clock and we got to be there at 10:05. I'm good. Look, So it was like that part was easy for me. And it was just like, I don't know, I guess it kind of prepared me to be a swell. But man, I don't really know, man. Going through that course didn't really teach you like leadership. You kind of get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Leadership is, I don't even know. I don't know if it's experience or if it's grown or how to really put it, man. You got to be self-aware as a leader. And I just think that we aren't like, we have to be better pickers at who can be a leader. I don't think you can go through a class and just to become a leader. You kind of get what I'm saying? And I think
Was they
sometimes when
training?
you
Was they in
Yeah.
OCS? Do they train for that? Do they like have classes on like leadership classes?
they do have some, you know what I mean? But there's parts of it that deal with leadership. But I think that, I mean, because when you're in that position, and y'all know because you're in the leadership position, that's why I love I think that if I would have stayed as enlisted as the chief, I would have stayed in. You have such more of a role of an impact to be a leader as a chief. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like you have,
Yeah.
it's like you get to influence. Like when you get an officer where they cut it, you're cut off because of, you know, fraternization, like your things like that. Like it's like your leadership role can only go so far. Like when that chief took you off the boat, like, you know what I mean? Like now I would question myself to take a sailor off the boat to go get something done. You know what I mean? Because of what the repercussions that could happen over that. I can't be a leader in that way. So there's ways, like, you know, there's different ways you got to be a leader as an officer. And there's different ways that, you know, you have to touch a, you know, influence a sailor in totally different ways than I can as a chief. And I like the way the chief role is because it's in your face. I'm seeing you. We can do this type of thing. Now, as mine, it's just a different way of teaching leadership from a guided box. I have to play my role. You kind of get what I'm saying? And they don't teach that.
Yeah.
And so when you get a lot of these officers that come in, especially young officers, they take that guided box and they take it as I'm the only way that they can influence is because I have power now. You kind of get what I'm saying? So that's why you see a lot of these guys come in and like, I got power. Like, you need to listen to what I say because we can't be an influence like the chief can. So they come in not knowing how to bridge that gap between them and the sailor because they don't have no experience. So the only thing they know is I got power. Listen to me. And then you get these arrogant people that come in. You're like, damn, man, like shut up, sit down. You don't understand the role of how they're supposed to play out. You know what I mean? And I remember I got in trouble for cussing his damn, like he was a lieutenant and I was an ensign at the time. No, he was Lieutenant JJ. I was an ensign, or he was about to put in a lieutenant or something like that. Anyways, like for him, the way he was talking to sailors, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you just can't, just because we human. Everybody's human, bro. Like just because you are too stupid to understand how to connect with somebody doesn't mean that you just bark out. Say you're acting barbaric now. You're acting like a fucking like a dog or a wild animal in the woods that the only thing he knows how to do is like kill somebody. Like you're human. We're human.
Yeah.
Like learn to fucking like to go in and talk to somebody, like to connect. Just don't use power. And that's why I can't, like it's hard for me to be in a position where I see it all the time. And you kind of gotta like you know, go with it. And then I'm not even gonna go there. But anyways, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like learning to be a leader in a different realm. But for me it was easier because you got to realize like I came from that area, you know, I was enlisted. And then secondly, I'm a minority, man. I know what it feels like. I know what it's like. You know what I mean? I can like, I can look at you and be like, look, man, I feel your pain. You can look at each other and be like, damn, bro, you kind of know you know what I mean? And then, so it was easier for me to do that because I had been through it all. And I think leadership sometimes comes from experience. That's why I think there's so many, you know, like a lot of good chiefs come and, you know, they take that experience, they remember that experience, and they take those lessons learned and they pass them down. And I can't do that as an officer sometimes because at that point I'm spending too much time. I got to get a class setting. You kind of get what I'm saying? It's like a leadership in a different role, man.
It's crazy when you give somebody like false power. Like they the ones that I see abuse it the most. Like the people that don't really have, like, I see admirals and everything, super down to earth, understanding, sit down, listen, talk to you. You know, it's like, damn, that's an admiral, man. But you get this one crazy ensign on a ship or whatever, just going around on a rampage. Like, I'm an officer, so I'm ranked high. It's like, yo, dude, like you ain't even really been in the Navy yet for like a year, man. Listen, like you said, listen, learn, grow. And I think the same on the side of the Chiefs as well. Like that relationship between the Chiefs and the officers, it don't work unless both of y'all humble and both of y'all understand. Like I understand that an officer is by rank, you know, higher rank than me. I understand that. Like an ensign is higher rank than me. But this ensign got to understand that I've been in the Navy
Yes.
a little bit longer and I got different
Yeah.
experiences or whatever. But when we get like the perfect symmetry and we both understand that about
Powerful,
each
man.
other, it's a powerful team.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If I can respect, because a chief, I don't think a chief should be disrespecting a divo.
Yeah.
For instance, like in front of the division.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much respect for me is like I'm not gonna disrespect you privately. You know what I mean? Like me and you,
Yeah.
if we go talk, we gonna
Yeah.
talk. You know what I mean? And you know, we'll have a conversation. It's gonna be out of respect.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it should go, you know, the same. But when we get into where your chief is grilling you in front of your guys, or the divo grilling the chief in front of guys, or the divo grilling the guys in front of chief, and chief not involved in it, or any way, like any of that thing happen, I think is bad, you know. So like you said, like you being a junior officer having to pull up officer with a little bit more rank than you, and it's like, yo, this is getting barbaric. It's just crazy when we give people, and you see it a lot in the military, when you give people a little bit of power and they abuse that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
David?
Hey, so I got a story about this, man. Like I was a chief, man. I was kind of like a newer chief, and I had this divo, man, and he used to be kind of like, you know, arrogant and talk and say this stuff. And I used to always have this grin on my face because he's talk all the time. I said, man, somebody gonna get in this dude ass, man, like real soon, man. Like I'm thinking like that. So one day, man, we talking, and we had to go talk to the captain about some stuff. So I said, okay, sir, you know, you an ensign. First off, you at a disadvantage already. You know what I mean? You going here and talk to the CO, so you got to be on point. I'm telling him right now, what you finna tell him about these jobs, you need to be on point, and you need to know everything about it, right? Before you get in there, I got this, chief. I got it. Blah blah blah. Right? I said, all right. So we go up in here, and look, man, he got probably 2-3 words out his mouth, and he just got ate up and spit out. Boom. Right? But let me tell you the teaching point of all of this thing, man. This whole teaching point. And I think the captain did it because I think the captain knew he was arrogant like this. I don't think the captain wanted to hear nothing he had to say. The dude probably was good to go. The captain didn't want to hear it at all. So at the end of the thing, before he told him to get the fuck out, he told him, "You got a chief, use him." And then he told him to get the fuck out. Right? From that time on, man, me and this dude was like, dude, we was good to go after that moment. But these are some of the same things that I was trying to tell him. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make sure you prepare, you this, you that. Same thing. He wasn't hearing me at all, man. But it wasn't like he didn't respect me. He wasn't listening. He would listen and listen, but then he'd go out and do his own thing.
His own
right
thing.
all the time.
That's
So man, the captain humbled him, man. But I never talked to the captain about that. But I think the captain humbled him because he used to walk around arrogant like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's the only reason he did it. He did that to him.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine it being hard for and I'm not talking about your case, but I'm talking about, another case. I can imagine it being hard for a junior officer, like when they first come and, they learning everything, and then they learning to kind of like cling to a chief and learn from that person. And then they might see like a mistake, like chief made a mistake, chief, and you probably could speak to this more, Joe, but like, chief, they working with their chief, they think they chief good, and then chief, fucked up. He had a moment, like we all do. And then it's like, damn, chief ain't as sharp as I thought he was. And I could see the chief going down. And when we had, because we had one of my devos on here before, Lieutenant J.G. Davis, and I told him about, we talked about that moment that we had, and we shared it, and me as a chief, I understood what was happening in that moment. Like, oh shit, like I got to fight against this, and I mean, that's at least was, my thought. But I could see that as me. And if I was a young, divo, my chief, and I'm, I put all my kind of eggs in this guy's basket or this woman's basket, and then like she fuck up, or he mess up, then I'm like, yo, this dude ain't as sharp as I thought. So let me start looking at this now. Let me start paying more attention to this now. And I could see that. I don't know if you could speak to that, but I feel like that happens.
It does, but you got to realize like going into any situation where you're not understanding that everybody's human is the worst thing you can ever do, because then at that point you're not preparing for everything. And so
Yep.
I read this book, and it talked about, if you get a chance to go be by somebody who you really admire, go find them, go walk around them, go, be about their life and watch how many times they mess up. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Because even the best of the best gonna fuck up. And I think the
Yeah.
military doesn't do well with sometimes in that area of with failure. They don't teach you how to do and what to do with that type of with failure, right? And so when I see my divo, or when I saw my chief would mess up, I'd be like, look, man, like, all right, let's do lessons learned. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like easy, like lessons learned. Like, but for us as a team, you know what I mean? And I always try to say, look, I know we messed up or whatever. And I would say we, because it's a single point of failure, because I wasn't looking at that as well. When I it's ownership. When I, as a leader, like when I take my eyes off stuff too, as a chief, like, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I wasn't aware of. So that makes me, you know what I'm saying? And so it makes me grow.
Yeah.
So it's not like it wouldn't be just your fault. You kind of get what I'm saying?
It's never a single point of failure.
It's not. And
ever.
And I think when we as leaders begin to do that, that's when we fail as leaders. I think leadership, honestly, is the ability to relate with people and use resources. That's all I know. That, to me, that's what as a naval officer, has taught me how to build relationships that I can't build right there and then and there, because I'm not forced. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a box. I got to build a relationship with you inside these walls. In order to do that, I have to use other resources as well. So it's taught me to build resources, and it's taught me to build like relationships in different ways. And so when I learned to do that, like when a single point of failure would happen, it'd be easy for me to go to another resource to get this thing fixed. You kind of get what I'm saying? It'd be easy for me to do this. And then that way the chief didn't feel a certain way. And like he was coming down. Cause I've seen that where like like you said, like the chief would just feel like, man, like fuck, like, and then that person's eyesight, you're going down. To me, that's just too much, man. That's too much pressure. That's too much, and I think that pressure in the Navy, man, I think that's what kills a lot of the progress. Because as soon as you mess up, man, it's like, God, boom, you know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes that has to be because of the situations and things that we're in. But come on, there's got to be it's got to be a training process on how to deal with the way that we handle a lot of stuff. Because as soon as that happens, we're human, man. As soon as that happens and you hammer somebody, guess when they go to push that button again, they second guessing. There's no confidence built in that. There's no confidence.
Now they just nervous. They just nervous.
That reaction is we're a product of our environments. And when you do that and you begin to, we're going to go that way. I've seen great sailors, man, great people be demolished and diminished, and their whole every self-confidence, belief in who they are diminished because of one reaction by somebody who had a little power over them. You kind of get what I'm saying? And I think, like you said, that abuse of power sometimes can kill somebody's life, kill somebody's future.
Yeah. Because we had a sailor who popped on a urinalysis or whatever. And I've seen it so much, like the Navy kind of outs this person, or not the Navy. Let me not say the Navy, but the person chain of command kind of outs, this person. And I remember talking to them, and it's like, hey, Chief, like, why are you still talking to me like normal? Like everybody else don't talk to me like this. And I'm like, yo, dude. And that's what I told him. Like, and it might sound super weird and random, but I'm like, yo, I'm a Beatles fan. I'm like, I don't know if you, I'm like, yo, I don't know if you did the drug or you didn't do the drug, but I'm a Beatles fan. I'm a Hendrix fan. I'm like, most of the people that I looked at like heroes my whole life, they did drugs.
Back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like they did drugs. Like, I mean, what, like, you know what I'm saying? All right, so so you out of OC.
I want to add to that real quick, man. Like from a leadership standpoint, man, I think one of the biggest things for me, man, was I've always been positive, right? So I don't really even care about the situation and how it happens and whatever it happens, single point of failure, whatever the case may be. I'm trying to figure out how I get to the next step, right? Always, right? Get to the next step because it's done. What's done is done, right? And And I think my leadership is like adapting, man. Like you got to adapt to whatever coming your way and keep it moving. If I stay at this course and we stay talking about this, I'm not moving on, right? I'm not moving on how I'm gonna fix this. I'm done with the situation that had happened. How are we going to fix it and make it happen and make it go forward? I done seen so many situations, man. We dwelling on, oh, they fucked this up, they messed this up, they blah blah blah. Okay, but we still got this piece of equipment broke. We still got this. Is this how we gonna fix this and move on? Like right now. And dude, and I'm telling you, and when things like this happen, people think like my guys come and say, hey, man, I messed this up. Dude, I am so freaking positive about it. It's crazy, man. I'm more like, okay, it's messed up. So what are you doing now? What's your next step to fix it? They looking for me to like to go in on them, which I am going to go in on you maybe a little bit later. But right now is the time for me to get this fixed and get this going. And they come back and I hear them overhear them over talking like, man, Senior was cool as hell about that shit. You know what I mean? Like blah, blah, blah. It ain't the fact that I'm cool about it. It's the fact that we still got to get this piece of equipment up. You know what I mean? We still got to get the job done still. And I think that's one of the biggest things, man. Like we dwelling and we sit back and we want to hammer somebody, you know, until they submit or whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, man, we got to get this. We got to keep going, man. We got to keep. And I think, man, from a junior officer standpoint, man, I think I got so much respect from both sides because of that. Like my Devo used to come to me getting chewed out by his department head or his CO or the XO or whatever. But then we get to me and I'm like, sir, that's an easy fix. Let's go do this. Let's go get this. You know what I mean? Get this right here. And then I'm going to arm you with the information to go talk to whoever you need to go talk to. You know what I mean? And then my success, I feel like when he go there and he come back with a smile on his or her face, I feel like I didn't won. You know what I mean? I didn't won right now, man. So yeah, man, it's most definitely a team effort, man. But most definitely, you got to stay positive and you got to adapt to things that's coming your way, man. Because if you don't and you dwell on shit, man, you'll have gray hair, bald head like my man, you know, Damo and stuff like that, man.
I know, man. You be like, dang.
What's up? What happened? Mine don't got nothing to do with it.
Your skin peeling back.
Mine I got nothing to do with the situation, right? Just a victim. Just a victim over here, man. But I'm just a victim over here, man. But the one thing that y'all talked about, but the word that I didn't hear, and I gotta make sure I add it because we are just talking about leadership traits is like approach, man. Like I believe in approach like more than like a whole lot of other things. Like you can win battles just based off, you know, your approach. You can avoid battles, you know, based off your approach. So approach is it's a real big one, man. It's a real big one. And different situations got to get approached differently.
But that comes over time. That's why you, like you said, you're putting these young guys in leadership. That's a time you think about it, man. Really think about these young guys in leadership over war, lifetime changing decisions. You don't have no lifetime experience, and leadership is all that happens. That's why you said building those, like you said, it's approach. How do you know? You ain't gonna know what to approach. That's school. I was in the school system for a long time. You don't teach that. You don't teach the important stuff. You don't teach how to do these things. Like the stuff that I used in school, I don't even use. I learned how to like build connections and make relationships because like that's so dope. You said that approach. The way you approach people and your attitude is what gets you through life. That's really what does. And you can see those people who have bad attitudes, negative, they stuck. It's stuck. You don't want to mess with them people. So like
exactly. Don't want to talk to them.
Like, so that's dope. I like that. I like that approach.
So we got you at OCS. You said OCS was, you know, kind of easy, but then you said you went back to a ship.
Yeah.
First ship as an officer, right?
First ship period.
How was it? Yeah. First ship. Yeah. Period, what kind of ship was it?
DDG. I did 2 DDGs. So it was
okay. So DDG.
Yeah, man. It was wild, man. I was like the wild, wild west out here, bro. Like, you know, I went from a strict community to we don't care if we get our East-West pin or not. I'm saying, what? What's going on?
Yeah, because they got to get the they got to get the Dolphins, right?
We in the Navy? Like, what we doing? Like, we gonna go to war? Wait a minute. Like, you know, like, but no, it was just, it was weird, man. Like, it was it was just a different, like, you know, I went from being locked down in a cage under the water to at least being able to go outside to see the sunlight. I was appreciative, man. Like I was so like, I can't even tell you, man. It was like, I don't know, man. It's like you can never appreciate the things you have unless you kind of really had worse. You know what I mean? Like unless you know, you can never appreciate like the good in life unless you had the bad in life. And that's how I really felt. Like I was down there with, you know, no sunlight, no communication. So when I get here, I'm happy, and people like, yo, what's wrong with this dude,
Yeah,
bro?
you watching people bitch
Yeah,
about
they be like, I'm like,
stuff like
yeah, they were like, I'm like, what? Like, you said what, man? Like, we can go outside, you know what I'm saying? Well, we're on deployment for, you know, this long. I'm like, it didn't really, the bad stuff that people were talking about to me wasn't bad. So, like I said, the only thing I didn't really like the food was trash, man. You know, just
compared to the
oh yeah,
sub.
man, sub food is the best, bro. Sub food.
Oh man,
When I was cranking, bro, I used to be like, our chop used to make these ice cream cookies. I used to be back there hiding them all. I'd sit in the freezer before I go and crank, eat like 4 or 5 these chocolate ice cream cookies, boy. It'd be like the food, and it like we had the best, of the best food, man. I'm telling you. But when we got here, the food was just it wasn't that good. And I got a bigger gym. Like, man, you know me, I love to work out. So I'm like, the gym was
a bigger gym on the sub.
No, here, like when I was did DDG, because the gyms were just in between tubes on the sub. So I'm like, man, we got a gym, like we got, you know, we got workout equipment. I'm like, man, this is heaven, you know. But then, like, you know, so but other than that, going to the SWO community, stepping into leadership, was different, just because I didn't grow up with that I didn't grow up in that community. It's a mainly white community, you know, and a community that's a lot of times privileged. And so coming into that community, I wasn't prepared for it. You know, I traveled the world. I did a lot of things. I saw a lot of stuff, but I didn't partake in a lot of stuff. And so I can talk the, you know, language, I can be in it, you know, chop it up a little bit like that. But living in it day in and day out, it was just a different animal in itself, man. It's like, you know, I want to be with my people, like laughing and joking and stuff. Now I'm sitting at the table, like, you know, just like, you know, like this weird, man, like, golly, you know, and it just felt uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. It was just uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable trying to fit in. And at that time, I really didn't feel like I could speak up. You know, I really felt like I'm at the table, but I'm not at the table. I'm here, but maybe is this really because they need another black guy on the number so they can say they're not doing? I'll be honest with you. Those are my thoughts sitting at the table, like, you know, because there really wasn't nobody else in that community. So I'm just sitting there, like, you know, and the things they talk about really began to show me. This is why I'm so big on teaching this to kids now. So I'm kind of doing what I'm doing now. It's just showing people like your awareness. It's like they live and breathe and this is them. They feel like I can do this all day long. There's no question about it because they grow up in it. You kind of get what I'm saying? So when I wake up, I feel empowered every day. There's no waking up and being like, oh man, I'm looking over here like, ooh, you know, are the cops gonna come get me or you know, or do I gotta worry about this, worry about that? That's not, it's like, I can't even explain it. It's just when I wake up every day and I'm sitting at the table, sometimes I'm thinking like, you know, is this really for me? Can I really do this? And then when I sit and talk to those that were already in there, you know, that weren't my color, it's like, that's never a question. That's never a thought. You kind of get what I'm saying? And so I want to raise my kids up to where this is like, you belong here. And it's not feeling, like it's like in you. So that was hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard sitting there, conversating, battling within my mind, like, do I really belong here? Does this person really think that I belong here? You know what I mean? Are they really just doing this because they have to? You know what I mean? So it's just it was hard, man. But
and that inclusion, like just that whole conversation, like I chalk it to something as simple as, you know, I gotta know who Tom Hanks is, but you know, you don't gotta know who Morris Chestnut is, for instance. Like, I gotta know who Tom Hanks is, you know, or Adrian Brody or any of, but you don't have to know who Morris Chestnut is, or you don't have to know who Tay Diggs is. You never had to see the brothers. You never had to watch The Wood. You never had to see Best Man. But I had to watch. If I never saw Risky Business, or Top Gun or
Yeah.
the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Like, oh, where you been at all your life? Oh, well, you never saw the wood.
Yeah.
You never saw. But so the reason why I chalk it down to
No, you're
things
so right.
that small culturally is because I think about coming to work after something, right? So we watch Game of Thrones or whatever,
Yeah.
right? We watch Game of Thrones, like morning, like water cooler talk, right? They used to call it, like when Lost was out, everybody talk about the episode from last night.
Yeah.
But it used to be times where I felt like, I have nobody to talk about. For instance, like The Wire 2. I got no, like when Nipsey Hussle died or whatever, right? I like that hit me like when Nip died. So I'm like, dang, it ain't that many people that I can actually sit here and really have a real conversation with about, Nip passing away. You know what I mean? Or, Kobe, for instance, because for us, like
That's
Kobe was
thing.
like a hero, like, for in sports. For some other people, it was the charge that the woman, put against them, or just another basketball player. You know what I mean? Like it's another basketball player passed away, Kobe. Now, a lot of people was hurt, but it's like a different kind of conversation. And it's like nobody you could really, so I can't imagine that, sitting there. And the one thing I do want to give props to the War Room about is awareness. Like a lot of JOs, a lot of the younger JOs I'm seeing are super aware of like everything, that's going on in the world. Open to talk about it, no matter what culture it is. I've had some great conversations with my divos about everything, from extremists to politics to like things that we don't even talk about that much on a podcast. I've talked to my divos, but I can't, like, again, I can only imagine being you walking in a place which what people that talk about something completely different, like it's a different lifestyle and culture than you have. You know what I mean? You can't even shoot the shit in the morning. Man, I'm from Philly. I'm from Philly. You know what I'm saying, Damon? Like, so in the morning, we go grab a coffee. We talk about the Eagles and then what other, I was secretly watching the OC on Fox or whatever, but we talk about the Eagles and what other things like of our culture. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you saw the fight. Boom, you heard that new, Nas, or you heard that, whatever it was back then, but then when you got the word, it was different. Like, I can't have this conversation no more.
It's almost like you can't be yourself. You can't be like, I'm being somebody else to make my money. I can't be me to, to in a place that it's just weird, man. It's like and to me, at some point, that causes you like to question who you really are, because like I have to go to this place and put on a different face, a different attitude. I mean, actually, when I'm out of work, I got to go find stuff. I have to force myself to live in your world, to come and relate to you, to be in your world. And that's where I see the biggest, a lot of difference is when I blew up on that guy. It was because his lack of care to go be in somebody else's world to figure out how they kind of relate. You kind of get what I'm saying? So it wasn't a thing of like you got this power now. That doesn't mean that you can just go talk to anybody the way you want to do it. How about you step outside of your world a little bit and go figure out what they like and who they are, to kind of figure out and to relate. You kind of get what I'm saying? And so when I was at the table, I didn't feel like there was a meshing of people that were coming over into my world to try to get me to come. You kind of get to relate. It was a thing of I had to
but it's
fully
like your
jump
world
in
is,
there. I had to fully get in there to relate. It was no ego.
Yeah, your world is like a novelty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your world, it's no reason, like it's no, and it's weird that we even stumbled across this conversation, but it's no reason to go to your world. Like it's a novelty, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, it's the same, it's the same with me. Like I'm in a movie, so I can always relate like everything to like, movies or whatever. But that was like back when the dude that ran the Oscars was like, well, women need to make, better movies. Or when like Stephen King was like, well, if more black movies was like made, we would see more black movies being nominated. It's like the ones that's being made though, y'all not paying attention to, because it don't really matter. It don't matter that much to like culture. like honestly, like that, like every culture don't matter that much to like popular culture. Like we got a couple. We got Will Smith, we got Denzel, Morgan Freeman, Samuel Jackson. Maybe Don Cheadle every now and then. But outside of that, like the actors don't. I can name 50 actors of other cultures that we know, like 100%, we know them,
Yeah.
like who, like you,
Yeah.
like, but so it's definitely, you know, different not being like the prime culture
Yeah.
of any, like it's still, it's a subculture. I've always felt like that, like it's a sub culture, like everything we're into is like different sometimes. You know what I mean? I remember like learning about like how important, like I learned about how important Guns N' Roses was in the Navy. You know what I mean? Like I did grow up to the Beatles. I
Yeah.
grew up to Bob Marley. I grew up to like Dean Martin and like,
Okay.
because I made music. So I had to learn about music as a kid. My aunt, she kind of gave me an assignment. Don't make music if you don't know music, right? So all
Yeah.
of the greats, I look them up. But I remember, you know, coming in the Navy and it was like a Slash book, and one of my somebody, a close mentor of mine, he gave me the Slash book. I think I never gave it back. I'm sorry, man. But he gave me the Slash book, and I'm like, damn, Guns N' Roses, like these guys were important to that culture,
Wow.
you know. But somebody might ask me, this black kid from Philly, like, yo, you never heard of Slash? Like, no, I never, like, I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But they be like surprised, like, no, I never heard of Slash. You ever heard of Coogee Rap?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I mean, so that's the different, you know, the different kind of cultural barriers. So I mean, that's so again, you know, fish out of water in that aspect, right? You know, you in a war room for, because that was the question I was going to ask you too, but you answered it pretty much. I was going to ask you like how was sitting at the table. You know what I'm saying? You
It
know,
was
just
just,
thinking about it.
it was weird, but you know, it's crazy. Like I've always had like I was chill. I'm just always chill. So most people, like, you know, even when we was chilling in the engineering room, you know, we'd always have a good time because we were just like had the same type of vibe, like being positive, laughing,
Yeah.
joking. Like, so when we're in there, like, you know, a lot of people would really like, I would attract a lot of attention because I'm just big black dude sitting at the table with people that who's super chill. You know what I mean? But in my mind, like, you know, I I feel like I'm putting on a show. Maybe it's my mind, maybe I don't know. I just feel like I'm putting on a show just so that people can understand and not be offended by what I want to say and who I really am sometimes. But I would always
Yeah.
get, like, you know, the JOs and all stuff. I felt like, you know, they wanted to be like me or be with me, but they didn't want the struggle to go with it that kind of came with. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't really, when I would bring up, like, you know, how I really feel and stuff like that. How could you feel like that? They were like, you know, that's a question. You can't do not what? Like, no. I was like, well, this ain't the time for the conversation. Maybe that's not my job to bring the conversation up. Maybe it's my job just to be here, be present, and try to get as many people that I can in here. Maybe the conversation will come later, you know. And so a lot of times when I'm having that, so my mission was, before I get out, I want to help at least 2 or 3 people become, that want to be swole, that are minorities, become swole. Because maybe I think that's the mission, is to maybe get as many as we can, that we can have the conversation about how we feel being at the table. And so you
Did
know,
you do it?
yeah, I've helped 2 people so far get in as swoles. So,
Okay.
you
Did it?
know,
Nice.
that was my thing. I think the conversation kind of needs to be had, and I think it wasn't my time to have that conversation. And so that's why I was like, I felt like I was putting on a front. So that's why I had the best time when I was down there with y'all. And then I didn't like engineering. I ain't gonna lie, it's hot, man. I'll say y'all do it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I was sweating like, golly, man. Like, you know, I only like to sweat when I go work out, but it'd be down there, it'd be like, but I had a good time because it was a thing where I could be free. I really felt like I was back. Like, the conversations we had, the things that we did was just like, man, like, you know, this is my world, you know. So coming down there, it was just like, it was actually a place for me. I wasn't going to get my, you know, I already knew back then I wasn't going to I was going to get out. So I, like, when y'all were doing them
Yeah.
forums and stuff, trying to sign me out, I already know I was going to get out. I just wanted to go down there because I was like, I like to kick, I like to chill, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that watch
Yeah.
was cool for me. But yeah, man, it was just like, it was learning. That's why I said I had to learn to adapt, play different roles, and use my resources, man. I asked him to go down there because I was getting tired of the bridge. I know I was about to flip out. I couldn't, like, it was just too much at the time. And so I would go back down there and just, like, you know, just to get away from it all, and and know that I could just, like, chill, like, I could talk, I could do my job, but I didn't have to feel like I wasn't being me. You know what I mean? Because the me that you
Yeah.
saw was a
Mm-hmm.
different me that I was at the table.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Yeah. Man. All right. So I want to wrap up the Navy
Yeah,
thing with a couple questions. The first question is what was your proudest moment? You got one?
man. I think I would say graduating from dive school and uh going to OCS. Nobody like, dive school is a big moment for me because first I had like that, a big doubter that didn't think I could do it. It was just like one of those things that I got to prove that, man, I can physically do this. I could quit smoking. I could do all these things just because you know, I don't know. I had the willpower to do it. That made me dig deep inside, be like, man, Joe, you can do anything, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could make it work out, whatever happens. And I think going to OCS because nobody in my family, I had a lot of people in the military, but nobody in my family had become an officer. And
Yeah.
I think it was uh it's just a big milestone and a breakthrough. They call like those things they call generational curses and all this type of thing. I just think,
Mhm.
generational curses are
Mm-hmm.
things that happen if our lack of awareness to a lot of things and our lack of being able to grow. And so I feel like I set poked another hole in the ceiling for, you know, my family and the fact that they can think bigger and achieve more because, they've seen it done. Vision is everything. So I just think that I casted another vision on somebody who's able. So now I got, like two cousins who are going to be, officers, one in the Army and then I think one in the Air Force now. That they
Nice.
looked up to it just to be like, dang, like, I don't have to stay this way, and so the more the more I go up and work on myself, I think I create holes and avenues for other people to see another vision, another way for themselves. So those were my two proudest moments, I would have to say, in the Navy.
L- Least proudest.
Man,
You got any?
getting caught sleep on watch, bro, cause I was hungover. The what was I at, man? The Seattle. We went to the Seattle. What was it? The Seafair.
Uh, yeah, a little festival up there.
Was
Yeah, man. And I came back,
was this
man.
as an officer? Let's
It was awesome, man. I'm sitting there. I'm on the bridge like this, bro. Like slump, bro. The captain caught me.
Ooh,
Oh man.
ooh, ooh.
Oh man, what the captain say?
Man, bro, man. He came and tapped me. He was like, "You all right there, shipmate?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, sir. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm standing up and shit like that. Man, like he played like he already knew he was cool though, man. I got lucky, man, because like, back then that, there, the security is real bad because they're trying to make sure nobody getting on the ship, nobody doing this other type of stuff. And
Yeah.
man, it's all so many people outside the ship. And I'm like, man, so he didn't say nothing to me. So it's like when your parents about to beat you and you know what's coming, but you don't know when.
Mhm.
So you just walk around the house like, "Golly, can I just get this beating, bro?" That's how I'm walking down. That's how I'm walking around this shit, man. Like, God dang,
Shit.
bro. Like, but my he didn't even really do nothing, man. I was just like, I was scared, but he was my Weps came and talked to me for it. He chewed my ass out though.
Yeah.
He chewed my ass out, and so I think because he knew who my Weps was, he wasn't gonna do that. Plus, that's why I say your reputation precedes you, man. I be telling people that like if you do good and you work hard, a lot of times like people know you human. So when you mess
Yeah,
up, like
Yeah. Yeah.
now you can't be no shit bag and then go do that and then expect favor. So, but
yeah.
I got lucky, man. I was like, dang, I was snoring and everything, bro. Drooling. I got up. I was like,
Game over.
but
Man.
man, I'm 30 something years old trying to hang with these 22, 23-year-old kids who can get out there, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's my age. You gotta remember, those guys are 10 years younger than me. Some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
when I'm trying to hang,
And
when
they
I'm
college
I'm
kids,
trying to hang. They're like, yeah, let's go.
fresh out of
I'm like, yeah, let's go. My wife looking at me like, bruh. So I'm coming home half the time. She got to deal with my, she's like, I'm old. I can't. I'm like that old dog that you got to fucking help up every time. Like, God, trying to crawl out the bed, like. So yeah,
like,
man.
yo, it's time to give it
Yeah,
up.
that's how. But
It's
they be
time
trying to
get
go
us
out. Yeah,
up.
when they was trying to go out at the end, I was like, nah, man, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I can't do that again. I
Yeah.
can't wake up and be like
once a month, player. Once a month. Once a month, man. Yeah.
oh man,
Like
yeah.
I don't even be wanting to go out like that
I
no more
can't,
unless I'm with my
man.
wife.
Yeah,
man.
that's what,
like keep me alive a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
man. Yeah, when I was like 32, I was
man.
like, I thought I could kick it, man, but I can't, man. I learned quick. So
Hey, so we about to talk about fitness, right? But before we do, right? Because you definitely
Lord.
can't leave here without talking about fitness. But before we do, I want to talk about food. Like,
yeah,
so
man.
I know you. Well, hey, Damon, you eat cereal? I don't even know. Do you even eat
Man,
cereal?
I used to eat cereal. I don't eat it that much no more, man. I don't.
Man, you can't let
man.
that go. That's no more. You got to keep cereal, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
I know you're a cereal, you're a cereal file like me. But before I get into cereal file, I saw a video of you asking your kids, like you was gonna kick them out the car if they gave you the wrong answer, and it was water or milk and the oatmeal, right? Was
No,
that
it
the
was the
question?
oatmeal.
Water and milk
No,
and
I
the
said
oatmeal?
I told him, do you eat your oatmeal? Is it runny or do you eat it like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You got to make
I
it
think.
thick. Yeah. And they was like,
yeah, now it gotta be thick.
yeah,
Gotta
man.
be
I was
thick,
like, I
man.
can't eat those. That's like,
Gotta
it's
be
like
thick.
eating soup. But yeah, I did kick him out. I kicked him out the car. I wouldn't put that on video though. And I made him walk like a mile down to get to the car.
Yeah.
So like we'll make that.
Because they both said watery, right?
Yeah,
they both
said
said
water.
runny,
They
right?
said runny. Those weren't even my kids, man.
Yeah.
Look.
That oatmeal gotta be thick. You gotta taste the oats.
man.
Hey,
the
so
oatmeal like
thick,
that.
though.
Yeah, man. That's nasty, man. Like, but yeah.
But let's get into these cereals, man. What's your top 5?
Number 1, I have to say is the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm a Cinnamon Toast Crunch fan.
Okay.
Number 2, I don't know why I like I'm a Trix fan. I love Trix, man. Number 3,
Trix,
I would
okay.
say like Reese's Cocoa Puffs. I'm a Reese's Cocoa Puffs fan.
Oh man.
Number 4, the churros, man. You tried them? Like, I've been trying these new. They've been coming out random cereals, bro. I got a whole list I'm gonna go down and get. But the churros one,
I ain't eat the churros yet.
ones is banging, bro. They don't get soggy fast. They hold their weight, bro, in the water. You know what I'm saying? So by the time you finish the bowl, they still crunchy. And so I like.
They not hard like the old King Vitamin joints, though, are they? Them King Vitamin joints used to bust your gums up.
The roof of your mouth would be like.
That's the Wick special, yeah. That's the Wick. You know somebody's on Wick when they leave out with the King Vitamin.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, though, man.
You know bro.
We had King Vitamin. We always had King Vitamin. That's all we had.
You could only eat so many of them. That's why they know you ain't gonna crush that whole box. Like, dang, your roof, your mouth be hurt.
Yeah, no, that should be having your gum looking like drapes inside your mouth hanging out. Hey, so look, Trix though, were you mad at? Because I was mad at Trix for a little bit.
They switched it up, man.
Trix went to like the bubbles, right?
Like
instead of they look like fruit.
Yeah,
I was pissed off.
Yeah, and they got lighter. They got lighter. Like they use less material or something in them. I don't know what they do. You know what I'm saying? But like it's like they use less material in it or something. Like
like the fruit don't taste like fruit. They all taste like the same flavor now. Yeah,
it tastes like vegan. Like I want vegan or something. Like that's why I want to eat when I eat Trix.
So what else you got? You got Captain Crunch, Trix, churros. I mean cinnamon toast. Yeah. You said cinnamon toast, Trix, churros,
Reese's Puffs, and Crunch Berries. Captain Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries.
Yeah, all the Crunch Berries.
All right. I'm gonna give you my 5.
Let me hear this.
My first one though, I guess you mentioned sogginess, so I guess that's why you ain't mention it. But my first one, number 1 too, right now is the Fruity Pebbles with the marshmallows. Like Fruity Pebbles got a Fruity Pebble with marshmallows.
Man, I didn't taste those. I didn't taste the marshmallow with the marshmallows in it. I'm about to get those.
Yo, taste. It's a blue box. Taste it. And then it's sweet. It's like sweet. Okay. It's like the overload of everything. Dang. Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows, man. It's incredible. And I drink the almond milk, the hint of honey. I drink like the hint of honey milk or whatever.
Dang.
That's all I drink. But
down,
so
man.
Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows.
Yep.
Yeah, with marshmallows, incredible. Damon looked lost over there.
David
looked lost over there, boy.
Man, I question your loyalty, bro. Because if you don't eat cereal, man.
Look, I grew up eating cereal, man. I just don't eat it like my kids eat them. I mean, we got cereal in the house, but I don't be on them, man. Like
you like, yeah, but you seem like a serious cereal eater, like Wheaties. corn flakes. like you eat cereal to live. Like an adult.
Joints.
Yo,
I eat this for my
corn
liver.
flakes.
My liver. I gotta have a good liver and good joints.
Yeah, man.
What is it called? Crave. Crave.
You're right,
What you-
man. I have to eat the right shit, man. You know what I mean?
So I got Fruity
Yeah,
Pebbles with
marshmallows.
marshmallows. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is on my
Okay,
list.
yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is on
Yeah.
my list. It's no way that
You
ain't.
gotta have that.
And that's the best milk. That's the best
Yes.
post cereal milk.
You gotta put in your protein though.
yeah.
let you know
Captain
that.
Crunch.
That's what I do. All right, Captain
I
Crunch.
will start. Captain Crunch. I got all three. I know it's more, but
Yeah.
I got Oops Our Berries, Crunch Berries, and I like they peanut butter joints.
They peanut butter joints fire.
I like they peanut butter joint. It's crazy because between that, Reese's ain't make my list, but between them and Reese's, it's almost like they almost the same. I got Life on there. I got both Lives. I got the Serious Life and the Cinnamon Life.
Cinnamon Life is banging.
And then, man, my serious cereal, man. I got one, man. I got one thing, man. Serious.
Don't tell me.
The Special K with the yogurt, man. The Special
Okay.
K. What's
I
that?
can
The
get
purple
down there.
box?
I can get down with that one.
Yes.
That's flavored
Purple
though.
and white box. Oh no. Yeah, it's crazy.
Shit, that's
It's
no
like
good,
raspberry and like yogurt.
That sounds good.
That John
I
is
say that.
crazy. It's so hard to make this list, man.
And that's what I was saying.
It's so hard
It's like
there's
it's so many, bro. They got so many cereals coming out, man. Like, bro, I'm like, it's
yeah. They drop a new
about
cereal
to,
like
yeah,
every week.
man. I'm like, dang, I'm about to go in here and just start like
The
pre-ordering.
Girl Scout
Yes.
joints.
Bro, see, I'm a
Yeah.
fat kid at heart though, so I love sweets, man.
Yeah, but you work out to make up for it, right? You work out to make up for it.
I do.
You work out to make up for it, and but it was a time that you wasn't.
Can I get my 5 in? My 5 don't matter, huh?
You got 5.
Come on,
You got 5.
man.
I gotta hear
My
this
5
shit.
don't even
Let me
matter,
hit it.
man.
Let's
I don't
hear
even
this.
know. I want to hear
Let's hear
this.
this.
I gotta hear this.
So first, my number one is like kind of like you guys, man. I gotta go with them Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man. Right,
Okay.
Cinnamon
Cinnamon
Toast Crunch.
Crunch up there.
Now, let's get into it, man.
Oh, here we go. I gotta hear.
I'm the Special K guy too, man. But with the Cheerio, I mean not Cheerio, but the cherry. Special K
cherry?
with
Okay,
the cherry,
all right.
right?
Okay,
Special
yeah,
K
yeah,
with
yeah.
cherries.
Yeah. Then I'm Fruit Loops. Gotta get my Fruit Loops, right?
Oh, okay.
I know. Fruit Loops, little old.
You know,
Fruit Loops
school.
like
I-
tricks.
Fruit
They
Loop like
lost. They
tricks.
lost taste
They
over the
did,
years.
but Fruit Loops used to have that one little hard ass Fruit Loop that would be in the box. You'd be like, when you eat it, you'd be like, God, that's why I couldn't fuck with Fruit Loops like that anymore, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's when you burnt ass Fruit Loops in here,
You
bro.
know.
Okay, go ahead, I got that.
I'm kind of talking from my old school cereal eating too. Now I had to go with my Apple Jacks. I'm an Apple Jacks guy too, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now my last one, man. Man, don't laugh at me, man. I like Raisin Bran, man.
Man, I knew it.
Okay,
I knew it.
I'm not
I knew
mad
it.
at you.
You know how I know
But
that,
regular Raisin
yeah.
Bran?
that's a
Regular
not the
joint?
crunch.
The Crunch, yeah.
You sure? You
No,
don't sound
Raisin
sure
Bran?
about this one.
Yeah, they got a crunch.
Is
They
it-
got a crunch
yeah,
and they got a regular. No,
Yeah, they got the
I think he
regular?
regular because
Yeah, I
you
read
didn't
it.
hear
Yeah,
regular.
yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
about no
see what I'm
Crunch.
saying?
Yeah, regular.
He
Yeah, I
he
don't know
need
about
he
damn
need he
Crunch.
need to keep himself regular at this age. That's why he gotta do
Yeah,
the regular.
yeah.
But
one.
I like Raisin Brands, man. I always liked it too, man. Always.
Raisin Bran
it's a
is
mature
definitely on the
taste.
table.
But you
Yeah,
know,
and it's sitting next to Milk and Magnesia. It's probably sitting next to. It's probably sitting next to some Milk and Magnesia on the
Oh,
table.
man,
Some
I
with,
need
with his
y'all
juice.
going
with his
in
fish
on-
with his fish oil with his fish.
fish oil, prune juice,
Prune juice.
and the paper.
Yeah.
He got the paper.
Yeah, man. I can't believe you guys going Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran is some good shit, man.
Paper.
Man,
Raisin Bran Crunch. Raisin Bran Crunch is good.
I just don't want nothing.
Raisin Bran regular.
Can.
is-
I just stay away for anything cereal that says like that's healthy. I don't know why, bro. If it say it's healthy, I'm like, nah, bro, I don't want it.
yeah. And the raisins, they try to put sugar on the raisins, but the brand,
Yeah.
that brand be like tasting like cardboard.
boy.
Gotta
man.
have that. The
Whatever
raisins,
that
the raisins, the
brand
only
is.
thing
Bruh.
saving it to tell you the
The
truth,
raisin-
man. The raisins saving
the
it.
raisin-
That's
all
why I
right,
couldn't
but that
get down with
brand
it,
ain't
man.
it.
That brand be like, what the heck?
The raisins.
Ain't no
saving
flavor.
it.
Yeah.
Oh
I knew you were gonna
man,
say
that's
that.
a good five
That
though.
is.
So if you had to eat a bowl of cereal right now, Damo,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
what would it be? Wheaties.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Oh,
What you say?
Weed. You said Wheaties.
I said Wheaties.
Fucking-
Nah.
No.
You showed
Okay.
you know your age on that those Apple Jacks, man. Apple
Oh,
Jacks
yeah,
is way
man.
Apple
man.
Jacks.
Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
You
Apple
probably eat
Jacks,
Honey Nut
man.
Cherry.
They hard to
You-
find. They be hard to find.
Yes.
I don't see no
Honey
Apple
Nut
Jacks.
Cheerios. Yeah, I eat Honey Nut
I know you
Cheerios.
They hard to find.
Yeah.
Oh, Honey Nut Cherry.
Yeah.
Kicks? You eat kicks, man?
Yo, I
He probably start his day with a nice bowl of kicks. He
I don't fuck with no kicks, man.
put a little spoon
you
of
do a
sugar
little
on it.
sugar like
Little-
My kids be eating, they like those Reese's kind though, man. I don't know what they call the Reese's.
They the joints he was
Yeah,
talking
Reese's,
about.
yeah.
Oh
Kids
no,
like
them,
that
yeah,
shit,
they
man.
incredible.
Yeah, they
they
good,
incredible.
bro. They
That's
good.
that's and the milk after that is
Bruh,
good too.
yes.
Like the milk after that.
I
incredible.
mess with those.
Then they got the brown, they got the dark and the light little
Balls,
balls,
yep.
the
Oh,
dark
yeah,
and the light
boy.
little Reese's
I'm a
balls.
Reese's fan.
Them joints
Yeah.
incredible.
Boy, you
man.
got
So-
some freaking
Yeah, and they-
cereal freaking y'all doing
So,
research and shit on cereal, man.
No, because look, it's a difference, right? So look, because the Captain Crunch peanut butter crunch is just like a crunchy
Yeah.
like cereal,
Mhm.
right? The Reese's got like this smooth coat.
It do.
Like you ever felt like
It
it's like
do.
a smooth coating
Around it,
over
yeah,
the
over
joint.
it.
It's almost like fire.
I don't know what they
It's like
put.
fire. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I don't know what
man.
they did to that thing, but it's good, man. I mess
Yeah,
with them things.
it's like dipped in excellence, man. All right, so let's get into this fitness,
Yo.
right? So fitness, where does it begin? Like, where does that story begin?
Man, when I got out of college, I got extremely depressed. Like when I was done school, I don't went through a depression time, man. And I gained all this weight, and so I was up to like close to 300 pounds, and I was just sitting there,
Mhm.
and after I had my son, I was sitting there like, dang, man, like I'm sitting there, I'm sweating for no reason. It's like I'm in Virginia, Lynchburg, let you know, so it's cold, bro, but I'm sweating, and it's like 40 degrees outside. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a
Yeah.
problem. Like, why the back of my neck wet and
Yeah.
it's cold outside? Like something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like something got to change. So my son, come to find out he had Crohn's disease. So that's when it really started at all, man. We had to change our whole diet in the house. And so, cause man, I used to cook, bro. I mean, talking about like, I would make dumb stuff like, I'd fry like a chicken, some chicken breast, coat it real good. Then I put cheese on it. But then I'd fry a burger with like a breading on it, and then put it on the same thing and put like all these things on it. So we eat like that every night. You know what I mean? Just like where I'm just
Yeah.
double like bad,
Piling
just like
stuff up there.
piling stuff on them. I had fries with it, and then at one point, man, I was working at Arby's, man. I was bringing home cheese sticks, then I would switch to what else I work at, man. I was bringing home everything, man, from all these fast food places. So I was just eating so bad, and I had no balance. Remember, I said I had no balance because I was with my parents. I went to school structure, and then I'm on my own. Like, dang, So, at that time, I was depressed. I was really depressed at the time, and so I just gained weight, and then. I mean, I was in and out of the hospital, heart issues, like digestion issues, stomach issues, just couldn't get right. And I thought I was having heart attacks, man. I was so big. I'd be at work one day, I'd be like, yo, like, bro, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they was like, hurry up. They, had to hurry rush to the hospital. And that's when they were like, man, you gotta lose weight, bro. You gotta trim down. And then shortly after that, like I said, I found out my son had Crohn's disease. So after that, we had to change everything we ate. And I just went on this health journey, man. But I was really I went on a health journey to lose all the weight, and I thought that was going to fix the issue. I thought that was going to fix my depression and fix my life. I just needed to lose the weight. But it wasn't. But I'm glad I lost it. It helped me to do the things that I do. I was able to go to dive school. I was able to easy go to the Navy at my age. Things, it made life easier, but it didn't fix the problem. But as far as the health, losing the weight, it really came down to a thing of like determination. You know what I mean? Life's a mindset. You can be the fattest, you can be fat, but if you have the wrong mindset, you'll never lose weight. And after working with people I've been doing training for so long, man. Fitness training for so long, and I can tell who's going to lose the weight, who's not going to lose the weight, all by the way that they think. It's crazy, man. And so people look at me and they're looking like, man, how you eat all this crap, but you also are able to, stay healthy and stay at the weight. I can't really explain it. It's what you think. Like you were saying, Legs, like you were just saying, like you stay positive. Life gives you what you think, so you're going to get the answer to everything you have. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm like, when I think of myself, I'm already in shape. I'm fit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, I don't sit here and sulk over like, oh, I'm going to gain 10 pounds for eating this stuff. It's just, no, I'm already in shape. I
Yeah.
already know what's going to happen. So I just, it's weird like that. But yeah, man,
No, I totally understand what you mean by that. So makes
but
sense.
yeah, so that's really my fitness journey. It took me about, I lost 100 pounds and then I gained it back because I didn't have any discipline. I gained 50 of it back like within no time. And so that's why it wasn't a lifestyle change at that time. It was, and I was still like confused about what I wanted to do. And then I lost it again. I've been able to keep it off, and I started doing shows and I started doing all this other stuff. Because y'all caught me. I lost it right before I got in the Navy, so y'all caught me on the tail end when I started competing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But you went from losing it to like helping other people lose it, right? Like it wasn't just, I mean, and what you just said about the mindset and stuff like that, I feel like you didn't just go from losing it to helping other people losing it, but you went from, I guess, losing it and figuring out, that mindset that you needed, and then kind of focusing more on teaching people the mindset, prior to losing it, or the mindset along with losing it, or whatever, however, you could probably say that better than I can though.
Yeah, it's a mind. I think a lot of people go into weight loss and all these things because they think it's going to fix their problem, fix their issue. When the issue is the what if they really think, you know what I mean? Like, and it's so like, it sounds so cliche, man. Like, it's so hard to present to people. Like, and like, you're coming in here, like, you're doing all this stuff, but it's not going to fix what's really your problem. What's your real issue? And, so getting to talk to people in these one-on-one settings, that's why I created the environment kind of like that I have now. It's because it's personal. You know what I'm saying? When you come in, it's not like we have some big box gym. I'm just telling you to go do this, do this. Nah, man. Like, let's really talk. And every time I get with people and I talk to people, when we begin to see what the real problem is in life, that's why you're holding on to this weight. You can't let it go sometimes, and it's so hard to get people to see that, man. And so the people that I come in that are like positive and have a good mindset, and they can positively like attack situations, their weight, I'm telling you, man, their weight drops like this. And then once you see people get it, then their weight, well, I mean, like, it starts going so fast. But for me, it's getting people. My purpose of doing it is getting people to become self-aware of themselves. I don't want to be the trainer that goes out and tells people, yeah, you lose this weight, you're gonna look great, you're gonna do whatever. No, you're not, man. No, you're not. I lost all the weight and was still depressed, still hiding from a lot of the issues, still had like anxiety, stress. I did. It didn't fix the issue. So, but like you said, I want to attack the whole problem. Let's talk about how you think. Like, what I'm saying, when we start talking to situations, you start seeing patterns about how you think and what's going on in your life and what's happening. And then, then we could talk about the physical side, because that's the easy side. That's discipline. Like, get up, you know what I mean? Go eat this. But the hard part is really nobody wants to sit with themselves. So let's sit here and let's talk about it. Let's go. Let's dig deep.
Yeah.
What's going on what's going on in your marriage? What's going on at the job? What's going on with your kids? What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? What you running from? And when people begin to attack those problems, then they can go, go on. It's teaching people just to face their biggest fear, which is themselves. And so,
all of us. I had to sit with myself. The hardest time in life was when I had to sit with myself. You know what I mean? And I see it now when I look at other people. Like, I see when somebody ain't sit with themselves yet. Like, damn, like, he still need to sit with himself. Like, he ain't, he ain't had that a long time where it's just like, it's just me.
Yeah.
When I see people kind of defining their image in other people, or defining their existence in other people, like a relationship or whatever, it's like, dang, this dude has not been content with himself yet. I didn't find my wife until I found, myself, or I didn't really find anything until I, anything that's stable right now until, I found myself. So a question for you though is that, what was it like that you figured, if you don't mind sharing it, what was it that you figured out, because you said you lost the weight, you gained it back, but the issue wasn't really the physical weight, it was more something, mental.
Yeah.
What realization did you come down to?
Man, it's deep, man. See, I've been married for a long time, so we're going on 18 years now. But over that time, see, I had put all my stuff into everybody else. I was listening to everybody else doing what everybody else wanted to thought, not understanding what I really wanted to do for myself. And so when you're a people pleaser, you never think of yourself. And so all these years, there
Hmm.
were a lot of things that happened to me that I had to sit down and deal with, being molested as a kid, as a young age for a long time. That the whole fact that, I never had a chance to make any choices growing up because they were all made for me. And now I'm conflicted with my heart's telling me to do this, but I can't trust myself because I've never had the chance to really listen to myself and trust myself. And then when I'm trying to listen and do what I think I'm doing wrong, or what I'm doing, I'm thinking it's wrong. So I'm conflicted. It's your mental battle, man. It's a mental thing of like learning you, and to be able to, and,
Yeah.
and knowing that what's happened to you is valid, and honestly being able to talk about it and being able to conversate and being able to be clear about it. You know what I mean? And so those times I would never talk about it. I would never do anything. So I'm sitting here like, okay, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, what do you want? But at the end of the day, I'm stressed because I've never done and sitting to what I really want. What does Joe want? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Joe,
Yeah.
you're valid. What do you want? What are you trying to do? But so I'm doing all my success for somebody else, but never me. So I'm empty. So I'm pouring from a cup that's empty. So at the end of the day, I'm regretting a lot of people. I hate a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? It's to the point to where, with my marriage, it was just like, I don't even want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be here because I'm doing everything for somebody else. And it's not being, I had to learn to be selfish, not in a selfish sense that I love people, I want to give to people, but I
Hmm.
had to learn to be selfish in the fact that, Joe, what you think and what you do matters. It's valid, but you have to learn to understand that, you what you went through is not your fault. Learn from it, build from it, but don't take on this pressure of the world. Think you got to get it, everybody. What do you want? What
Yeah.
do you want, Joe? Sit down. So I never had, like I said, I had to sit down and like, Joe, what do I want? I don't want to be in the Navy. I don't want to be a teacher.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I love my kids. I want to be with my wife and family, and that's okay. You don't have to. If that makes somebody mad, that's fine. That's that they're not you. And so I had to really
Yeah.
learn to detach from that and learn and see when you. I had to learn that to sit by myself, and it's okay just to be. It really is okay just to be. Don't attach yourself to an officer. Don't attach yourself to being a fitness guy. Don't attach yourself to being a husband, a wife, a dad, a kid. Don't no, just be. Just you're just exist. And that's fine. And then now when I step into a situation, it's because I want to. Not because you told me to do this. Not because I felt like you wanted me to do this. It's because I wanted to do it. And I had
Yeah. And then it's like when you when you step out of a
yeah,
situation, it's because
you
you
want to
want
do
to.
it.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
like nobody is nobody else that's making me stay here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like some
Mm-hmm.
relationships,
Mm-hmm.
like where it's like, yo, if we split, what the
Yeah.
family's gonna think if this happened with,
And they ain't
so
paying
yeah,
nothing
that's
for it. They're
crazy.
not doing nothing for you. They just sitting there
Yeah.
being, those are the
Mm-hmm.
selfish people that are telling you what to do. And if you don't do it, they get mad. And when you really think about the concept, I never really thought about it. I'm like, damn, man, y'all selfish. Y'all ain't putting no money in my pocket. Y'all ain't here when I'm going through. Y'all ain't here when I'm crying at night, when I'm frustrated, I can't figure it out. Ain't none of y'all here. But y'all want me to do what y'all want to do, and y'all want me to be happy because you happy. Man, get out of here, man. That like that, when you really think about it, that's the selfish people. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's not being selfish. So that was a hard lesson to learn, man. I just remember just sitting down, just like trying to process through it all. When I learned that, man, it was just like I felt free, man. I felt like, I don't really care what goes on, what people think, but I want to teach this. I want people to understand this freedom. I want people to understand. I want to give back the things that I learned that I didn't that I didn't have when I was younger. I want to learn about decision making. So I was big with me and kids, put them in situations to make them make decisions, putting them in situations to learn to bridge the gap because they're here, they see success, and they just think that if I put hope and a wish and a dream and I manifest it's gonna come. Nah, man, that's not how it really happens. Like let's learn decision making. Let's learn to fill it out at a young age. That way you don't make the same mistake that I did of losing close to $80,000 when you're 36 years old. You kind of get what I'm saying? I don't want that for them to
Yeah.
happen. And then for me as adults, I don't like to see adults who are thinking that their success depends on their weight loss journey. Or if I would get this weight loss, my husband's gonna love me better. Before I get this weight loss, the lady's gonna like me better. No, they're not. You only like yourself. Why somebody else gonna like you?
Yeah.
Let's get to the root of the problem. Let's grow as people and not stop living into this vain world, man. I like that stuff is sad. And we have mentioned it earlier, but it's sad because I think of the kids today, man. It's hard, like, think you take their cell phone away, they think the world is going to end. God dang.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's so vain. And it's because their substance and what they're built on and their basis is not them. It's built on something that's so fake and that's so false that's why you get these kids who can't deal with the pressure of life because their reality is based on, it's not stable. It's based on something that's not
Yeah.
stable. And so when you take it away,
Likes and
yeah, you get all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you are able just to be and be happy, then everything else is just like, man, this is dope. This experience is dope. What I'm doing is, it's not stressful. What I'm doing is because I enjoy it, man. And I think that we're missing a point. We're missing a point. And that's why I do the things that I do for fitness. It's not just to, yeah, I want people to lose weight to be healthy, but what's the point of being healthy and you don't even enjoy life? You ain't gonna enjoy it. You're gonna find something else to worry about.
So I got a question for you, right?
Mhm.
The Navy, they got like ELD, enlisted leader development training, which I like. Some of that stuff we was talking about that they don't teach people.
Yeah.
As far as mindset stuff, they have been in that training, right?
Oh, that's dope.
But they also do something else where it's like, if you're not on board with, like, if you're not on board with what they putting out,
Mhm.
they'll talk to you and you could leave, because it's like, hey, if you're not going to take this on or buying in, right? If you don't have buy-in to this, you could go.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Damon, have you been to ELD
I
training?
never heard of that.
All right, yeah. Yeah, so they talk a lot about morality, they talk philosophy stuff, a lot of stuff. But it's like, yo, like when I went through the class, for instance, like somebody got pulled to the side and they like, hey, it don't seem like you buying in. You could leave. You go ahead and go. They might even tell you to go, like not even ask you, like tell you to go, because you're not going to carry on tradition, right? But I say that to ask you, because I'm thinking about what you're saying and what your mission is. And I'm thinking about, if I was in your shoes, some people I would be like, yo, nah, like we can't do it because your mind is not working. Do you, so in your case, do you work with those people, or do you be like, nah, just go to a different trainer? Just,
Yeah.
how do you handle
so
that?
like before I take on board, we kind of have a conversation. And I kind of see if like if you can receive what's ready to come for you. Like they say, the teacher will appear when the student is ready. And sometimes that student ain't ready. And so sometimes it's like, I don't do it in the wrong way, but I don't think you're ready for what I'm trying to give. And so that's why I try to endeavor to do it through social media platforms. You kind of get what I'm saying? Because at that point, if I'm not, I take it on a mission. If I'm not reaching somebody, it's because I haven't grown in the area that they need to be reached at. So I have to go and better myself at reaching my kids. I have to go better myself from reaching the guy that I couldn't reach to come back in here. You kind of get what I'm saying? I have to go better and better myself in areas where I felt like, I wasn't able to reach people. I do turn people away because I don't think they're ready. But what platform or what can I use to maybe get their attention? Because sometimes like something will be said that will make you just think, and you'll be like, damn, I didn't even think about that. And it can be eye-opening. But I don't want, I would never want to leave the table or leave anything being like, man, he wasn't ready for, forget him, on to the next one. Then that's what the point am I doing my job for? You know what I mean? That's like, I'm no better than the person, the trainer is saying, hey, go ahead and we're gonna lose this weight. I'm gonna take your money, knowing that you're still not gonna be happy. Like that just don't make sense to me. So with those people, yes, I do turn them away, but I try to do other platforms like the podcast. My social media where like it's more joking and they can kind of get to know me more, but they kind of see like, oh, there's another side to them too. You know what I mean? So things like that to try to get people more aware, just to awaken themselves. So it's frustrating that they don't see it, but some I was the same way growing up too sometimes. And there are people, you know, I would never give up on myself, and so I would never give up on anybody else. So
But
that's
that's
how I
the
feel.
Yeah.
expectations too, right? So in your social media or your means of putting this information out to people before they join, your stuff, they already
Hmm.
know, right? Don't they already know that, hey, you come here, it's a life thing, right? It's
Yes.
not just coming here to work out and eat, right? It's a whole, life type deal when you come see me.
They do, and some of them don't, and some of them don't want it, because like at the end of like Saturday classes, we have Saturday classes, especially for women. Like, we talk about what's going on. We talk about what's happening, what's going on in life. And a lot of them, man, you'll hear some stories, man. I'm like, dang, and I was complaining, you know what I mean? And some of them, there's some women who
Mhm.
we like, hey, we got these things, they don't want it. You know, some of them just like, they don't expect that it's going to be there. I'm like, hey, we have this. You're going through. This is going to be. It's going to help you, but they don't want it. My big thing is I want this for men though, because think about it, man. Like, it's not taught to men to talk about these things every day in an environment. But a lot of us are hurting because we just got so much crap that's inside. And so the reason I kind of like I get the women now, because now like a lot of them are married and stuff like that. Hopefully their husbands will get on board or something. So we had a vision board party, and there was we had men that came, which I was surprised, because it's taking time to think about you. Don't suck it up. Don't man it up all the time. Like, no, you know what I mean? That's my really ultimate thing, is to get men to be like this, because I feel like, if especially black men, if we can just get together and grow and let this stuff, a lot of stuff that's happened, that's going on, what that wasn't right to us, to grow and get it, then I think we'd be better husbands, better leaders, better fathers, better, you know what I'm saying, just products and people of society. You know, the things that MLK was talking about. That takes self
Yeah.
growth. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he had to face himself every day in order to remain that high. And any religious books or anything that you read, those guys they had to deal with themselves in order to maintain the status that they had. That's the only way you can do it. But we're looking at it backwards. We're all about the outside. How do I look? How do I get here to try? But you ain't got no substance. Nobody going. You're standing on a false ground. If I take them clothes away, man, you done. And that's why society. I look at black people. Society is keeping it's easy to do it that way. Get them J's. Get those TV. Get those cars. Get those things. You think you got something. You know what I mean? But as soon as I take it
Mhm.
away, I take your whole life away. You done. You have nothing. And so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got to turn that around. I am who I am
Yeah.
because I am who I am. These clothes don't make me. So you can take that. You can take all that. It don't matter. You can take my house. You can take all this stuff, but you will never kill who I am. And that's why they hated Malcolm X, and that's why they hated Martin Luther King at that time, because they weren't defined by this physical world. They weren't. And a lot of times nowadays we fall into that trap of being defined by what we have and not who we are. But
Yeah.
it's who we are that matters. You got to turn inside, man. And that's my business is really all about. It's not appealing. Nobody really wants to do it. And it's been a struggle that way. That's why I said I have to grow in ways to present it and to get it there. But that's what it's really all about, man. It's about trying to get people just to grow, man. Like, you wasting time? Like like you said today,
Yeah.
I'm tired of wasting time.
And
I think you got
I can
something there
see
though,
that.
man. I think it's something there because who's doing that though? Who's
Yeah.
having classes like that after a hard workout and you talking to people about how they gonna eat, and also we gonna talk
Yeah.
about life stuff. We gonna talk about this type of event. I think that's something, man. I don't think everybody is doing that or everybody's trying to get to that level. So for
Yeah.
me telling you, man, I know you got to figure out how you want to put it out and how you want to say it, but I really, really do think something is there though. Because who's doing that, man? That's different.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
different.
Uh,
I think the hardest thing when it come to men for buy-in is
Men.
men.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
it
the
is,
competitive,
man.
Yeah.
the nature, everything about a man, like we want to be alpha. We want to,
Hmm.
we want, and like you mentioned earlier, and we keep kind of mentioning is like sitting with yourself and being sure of who you are.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But until then, like I recently started taking like boxing training
Hmm.
from a friend of mine, but it's like maybe like 10 years ago, you might not want that person to know that you don't know how to put your feet right.
Yeah.
When you fight. So a lot of men kind of think like that, like,
Mhm.
man, like I have to be here and be dominant, and it's always like, a competitive nature with men. And like if we could sit back and understand, like, each of us have our own gifts, right? Each of us, and let's kind of cater to that so we can all raise each other up. I think about that because I think about like my early days, like making music and just being with different, crews. And like somebody might be the most talented when it came to making the music, right? I'm not gonna say it was me, but somebody might have been the most talented when it came to making the music. Somebody else could have made music too, but like, all right, I'm gonna chill out and I'm gonna do like promotion, and then when we all get together, we all, come up together. All right, I'm gonna chill and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna chill, but everybody wanted to be the music person, like everybody. Every Saint Lunatic wanted to be Nelly, right? And I ain't talk about them, personally, but everybody wanted to be, every member of D12 wanted to be the Eminem, like all of us. We gonna shoot out at the same time. And it's like, cause it's men. Like, I don't want to come up under him. I don't want to come up. And then it's like, none of us, at the end of the day, none of us come up. You know what I mean? So we get together, we play off our strengths, and then, that happens. I know if I was in Cali, I would have probably came through to one of your, sessions already. So is it just you running a session? Is it or you got partners?
I don't have any partners, man. And like the whole thing, the way this thing happened, man, it was weird, man. When I started it with a guy who we were supposed to be partners, running out of another house. I was living in a condo at the time. So he was like, if you afford the money, you know what I'm saying, I got the place, let's do it this way. So I afforded the money, man. Come to find out, this dude was like taking money from me. I would go on deployment. He was taking cash, like spending the cars, bro. 2,000 here, 3,000 there, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard him over the cameras talking about bringing another guy in, talking about how they was going to move the equipment because I wasn't there. I just happened to be looking on the camera one day, like, and listening in. I'm like, this mother, what the? So I had to hurry up. I had to devise this plan to sit down. I had to sit down with him, because he was like, he would go buy all these clothes, $2,000 at Nike outlet, $2,000 at some other outlet, $3,000 over here, $800 meal foods. I'm like, yo, what the heck? And he was wearing the stuff in front of me. I just never knew. My wife was like, hey, you just check the account, because I just paid a bill. He was never helping me pay, never anything, man. So I sat down. I was like, look, man, we found our own house. I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna move the equipment. I can't really be partners with you anymore because of the trust thing, man. I said, but I love you, man. I said, you did what you had to do. And I said, I don't hate you for what you did, but I said, I love you and I pray the best for you, man. And I departed from that relationship, man, and that business thing, man. And it hurt though, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, dang, I was trying to be partners with somebody to build a good thing. And, trust goes out the window. Lesson learned that I didn't learn, that I didn't make it. And I repeated the same cycle about a year and a half ago, trying to do this partnership with somebody else, another 40K gone.
Yeah.
And so when I'm building it now, I'm learning to trust my decision making, but also use resources and with businesses, learning a bunch of stuff that I didn't learn when I was a kid, to think through the process, think through it all. And so businesses, like I don't know how I'm gonna get the business partner. I know it's gonna come at one point, but right now it's really just I'm sitting down and doing all of my own. Me and my wife is helping me out in some areas too, but it's just me. All the stuff you see is just pumping out. Is me sitting behind the desk, man, and creating the stuff.
So what's the like maximum amount of people you work with like at a time in a session?
There's pretty small. Well, groups, women usually. I mean, groups I can get 12 in. And they're pretty cheap sessions. So I get, the max is 12. We'll do, but I usually run small groups like during the week, 4 to 5 person in a session, and and they'll come in and like I set it up to where we do the workouts, and then at the end of the sauna here we got massage chairs, we got all things we got ice baths, we do contrast therapy where it's hot and cold, you get in a sauna, go sit in an ice bath, sauna, ice bath, and then I work with athletes, man. I work with a lot of athletes, man. I was just on the show of Overtime. They came and they shot an episode here. So I got a lot of basketball players, a ton of basketball players. that I train. A couple of girls that played in the Olympics. Um, things like that, man.
Is that and all that workout equipment that's in your garage?
It's in my house, man.
Hey, I got a question, man. Like, and I'm asking this
So
for a reason, man. I'm asking this for a reason. So I
Yeah.
see all the, so of course, we see you on
Mhm.
social media and we see all the stuff you be doing, which is
Yeah.
you doing great things. But I have a garage, man.
Yo.
And how the hell you get all that shit in that garage and make it look the way it looked, man? Like I got stuff in here, man. I'm like, and I got a 2-car garage, man.
Yeah, man. It's
You got a
two,
3-car
man.
garage?
It's
You got a
two.
2?
I have
Man.
a 2-car garage, and then the other one is a separate garage that I put all the cardio. So when you see the bikes and stuff, it's in another garage.
Okay.
And
okay,
then
okay.
I changed another room in the house to do I have a massage chair, 2 foot massagers, the eye massagers, 2 fully reclined massage chairs, 0 gravity, and a sauna in another room. And then I have another room that a lady does this stuff called body sculpting, where they actually I never man, California got some they brought me to some new world, man, where they have these like laser machines and all these things where they actually like they do woodwork, they scrape the fat, then they use laser machines to help tighten up the skin. They got a bunch of stuff, man, and they do stuff for a lot of people who have like body surgeries where they lose like liposuction and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man.
yeah,
There's a
I
lot of
see
stuff
that.
out
I
there,
be
man.
seeing that on Instagram.
Yeah,
I be
man.
seeing
Yeah, I'd
that
be
on
like, what?
Instagram. The models,
Yeah,
the
like,
models.
Yeah, yeah.
We seeing
yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah.
They be like, yo, that's crazy.
Especially with people who use their bodies as their job, man. You
Yeah.
see the stuff they go through,
They
man.
go through,
Oh
man.
yeah,
I'd be out there
they
like,
got it.
Yeah.
dang, man. But yeah, I did it all, man. I would have these dreams, man. I would have these like crazy visions, and I wouldn't sleep for like 3 days. And I would just literally, I would go to work in the Navy. I'd come home, and I would be up all night. Didn't go to sleep, then go back to work, come home, and that's how I built all this stuff. I was like, I wouldn't sleep, man, and I would have a dream about it, and then I would research it all night long, research how to get stuff, and then I figured out, man. Figured out one thing I tell people is like, don't put the equipment in there until you get mats down, because that was a pain in the ass trying to lay them mats down.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah,
I'm taking like crowbars trying to
but
lift it up. It's crazy. So
hey, but I mean, that's like, man, that's like the pure exact definition of bet on yourself. Like right now, you bet on yourself, and the returns, like whenever you bet on yourself, the returns ain't only monetary.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
spiritual,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
mental, it's all types of stuff. And you've been betting on yourself, and I mean, and that's something that we all like to see.
yeah, man.
I think honestly, man, from every conversation we had, I feel like, man, we could do this for 25
I know, right,
hours. You
yo.
know what I'm saying? But I want to get into the podcast. Just keep living is the name of it, right?
Yeah, man. Just keep living.
You've been doing that for how long?
We just got through an episode of, I want to say 12 seasons. We just started last summer. And the way it happened was the 2 girls that we started with, they work out here. Didn't know them at all. I'm gonna tell you this: if you start something on your own, don't expect none of your friends, none of your family, nobody to be there, because you know what I mean. Like the people you think gonna be there, they all show up. So, but
for
they
sure.
were. We didn't even know them like that, and we just all would have good conversations, and we would just sit there. So they were like, "Hey, let's start a podcast." And we were like, "All right, cool." So it's just about, we started it just on real life situations. The last one we did was we did a lot on depression. We had psychiatrists on. We did on like just real life situations where, I mean, like growing up, the things that we thought were normal that really aren't okay. You know what I mean? Like, and just digging deep within yourself to figure out like, about life, and making this, just keep living is like, keep living your life and learning, you know what I mean? Like live, do you, be who you are, and continue to grow. So this season we're doing it on entrepreneurship,
Nice.
that we're filming on, and we want people to be real. Like, don't give me this cliche bullcrap stuff about life, what were your struggles, like, like what was going on when you try to start something, really what happened, because you paint these false realities for a lot of people, you know what I mean, and now they're thinking that, hey, I can get from A to B without stumbling and falling and this and that. No, be honest, be real with yourself. So that's a whole
let's talk
let's
about
talk
it.
about it. So that's what that is, man. We do some live episodes, and we do it all at the crib, man. I don't know if you ever see it, or you'll see live episodes at the crib. We do a vision board party, which turned out fire, man. It's about self-awareness, man. We're just trying to bring people to be self-aware.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I keep up with a lot of that. And
Appreciate it.
whoever's doing the media for the podcast is dope. Whoever doing that
Oh,
media doing a real good job.
yeah,
Yeah, real good job with that.
yeah, it
Real
was
good
good.
job.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, so just keep living is the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
What's the name of the fitness? What's the name of your fitness?
Transform mind, body,
program?
and spirit. So transform, yeah,
Okay.
that's it, man. We got a lot of stuff coming. We're about to launch an app. I'm about to launch an app coming soon, and that way, you know, it's for families. There's one that's for families, and because I want the family to be fit, man. There's no point. This year is really about family. It's about family, whether it's your work
Mm-hmm.
family, whether it's your immediate family. See, a lot of times, and I learned this over the years, a lot of times as families, we all have our little missions, our little goals, and at the end of the day, we start driving away because we have our own thing, which is good to have.
Mm-hmm.
But like, let's come together, make some core values. Let's make some, you know, some things where we all stick together, where we're communicating together. And it's just like a business. The business does the same thing. Why do businesses succeed? Because they have a mission statement, they have a core values, and everybody has their own little things that they're doing. But at the end of the day, if what we're doing is not aligned with what we're the middle of us, then that's when people start striving away from what's going on. You kind of get what I'm saying? You lose relationship with your kids, you lose relationship with your wife, you lose relationship with all that stuff. And so this app that's coming out is dealing with a lot of that stuff. It's going to have workouts. Like, so say you don't have equipment, you got workouts for as long as you want for with no equipment, you know what I'm saying? But there are things that you can do with your kids. All y'all can be in there watching and doing it at the same time, you know. It's got things that are going to go for, like, we're going to talk about relationship stuff, real life stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like infidelity, all that, you know, all those things, being honest. Like, you know, how did you get over it? What do you do? Where do you turn? Like, you know, being real for people who are trying to get married, man. This whole thing, what is marriage? If marriage isn't a commitment to change, then, you know, what you're doing is outright wrong. Like, you know, love does have nothing to do with marriage, because you ain't gonna let that person tomorrow. Believe me, like, you know what I'm saying? And then you might fall back in love with them again. It's not a feeling, it's a continuous thing. So it's, you know, it's going through things like that. And then it's going to have things, you know, for, like, if you're a parent and you're trying to get your kid ready for sports, you know, how do you train them? Because, you know, I trained my son since he was 5, and now, like, you know, he's a monster, man. You know, just playing sports, ball, all that type of stuff. So it's gonna have stuff that's centered around family, and then also gonna have, you know, some other stuff there. But it's really about family this year, man. Even if it's for your business, you can do it with your business. You got a group of people who you trying to strive and get life to better with. Let's get healthy together. Let's dig deep together. Let's do these things, because the power of the family, you know, really is dependent on how well each person can go and self evolve. And then when you come together as a team, man, like, you know what I mean? You're only as strong as your weakest link. So that person that's back there, that's part of your team, that's just sitting there doing nothing, and he either got to go, or, like, look, you catch up with us. But, you know, I want everybody to have the opportunity to, you know, turn their families around.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah, it's a good concept, man.
So
really good concept. Where can the people find everything at?
So you can find me at Joseph Solomon, Transform Mind Body Fit on Facebook. You can find me at King Solo _1983 on Instagram, or you can find me at just _keep _living on Instagram and Facebook as well. So that's about it, man. Oh, and we have a website, www.transformfit.com. So
okay. It's crazy. I just realized that the underscore is what you get when you hit space on Instagram when you creating a profile.
Oh, you're like,
yeah. I started a podcast, and I'm like, I'm gonna call it the space fan space room, and it was like underscores. I was like, man. Oh man, okay, all right. So that's why people got all these under. Hey, Damon, you got any more questions for?
No, man, I ain't got no more questions, man. But great
Yeah.
conversation, man. Great
man.
conversation. You're right, man. Damo, we can talk to Joe forever, man. Like,
we're gonna have to get you back on.
It's good conversation.
Good. We might have to just have you on here with us for the rest of the
man,
long.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys, man. I love to talk about some deep conversations too, man.
Yeah.
So that's most definitely something I like to talk about. I like to see what, and my biggest thing about it is, man, like, I know how I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm big on how other people think. Like, I like putting myself in the same situation, and then I know how I'm gonna think. But man, I love to see how other people think too on the same the same, you know, breath. Like how they think, you know. So that's good stuff, man. I like it,
man.
you gotta have had a testimony though to
Yeah.
get to that level of
Yes.
clarity and understanding and foresight and that bird's eye view kind of look at things. You gotta have had a testimony, man.
You do.
And 9 times out of 10, you probably read some good books along the way, and you know some stuff like that. You got any books that you would recommend?
The Power of the Subconscious Mind is one of my favorite books. And I'm rereading Think and Grow Rich with a group of kids that I'm teaching right now. And it's just about your thoughts. I'm really big on the way you think. Life is a representation of your thoughts and your vision and so if you can't think correctly, then you're never going to get out of a situation. You can't, you'll never win. And so the man who thinks is the man who wins. Who's able to think, man who can think the best is the man who's always going to win. And so those are my 2 favorite books right now that I know of. So, I mean,
Think and Grow Rich is like it's an essential read, man. It's like it ain't even really as like it don't even got to be about the money. It's about just the thought process. Like the one story with I think it was like the pastor or whoever who was like, "Y'all might have $1 million in 48 hours," and he did it. Like it was like. But it was like it all made sense, I think that's Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, it is Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, that's
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. Yeah, book, yeah. So that's good stuff, man. One of the essential reads. I have one of mine. It's called "The Body Keeps the Score." The Body Keeps the Score. The Body Keeps the Score. Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. It's by Bessel van der Kolk, MD. Right.
Wow.
And what he does is, he was some psychiatrist, but he talks everything, right? So he starts off, he talks about the brain, right? And how the brain functions, like how the brain processes trauma, how the brain processes life. So he talked left brain, right brain. So he starts there, and then he talks about medicine, right? Medicine for victims of trauma, medicine, and like how that medicine actually like affected the brain and how people, thought about stuff. Then he gets into like every form of like therapy, like everyone. So any different practice or any different medication he talks about in here. But he does all of this like weaving in different stories of like, I guess, patients who said he could talk about them. So he goes through patients, then he brings it back to like the science. Then he brings it back to like the medical. Then he takes it back to the experience and how this experience had like an effect on a person. So it's like every aspect of like your brain, trauma, mental health is all in here. And it's all about like how your body process this stuff, man. And I mean, and some of these people, they've been abused as children, because it's about PTSD as well. So he starts off, the initial beginning is about military, right? Because it was a point of time where people didn't even like acknowledge PTSD. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even like a thing. Our people didn't acknowledge with DID, like multiple personalities and different things like that. My wife actually, I can't find the book right now, but she got, the book that tell you every diagnosis and everything like that. Dang. But this dude he's legit, man. That one. He got it.
That's my next read.
He got experience. Yeah, he got experience. He got knowledge, in every aspect of it all. I got the audio book, so it gets a little like what I learned from audiobooks like this is not everything is going to be for me, right? So the shit that catch me in a book, I'm into it. Then when they get real technical, whatever, I might not catch it. You know what I mean? But when it's back to what's for me,
then you back into
it's for me. But but what I used to do, like, traditional books or audio, I would stop it and go back.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, yo, how many times I'm going to stop it at metachronolosis and never understand it? Like, I didn't stop it 30 times. I'm never finishing the book.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull from this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm like, I'm going to just play it through. And then the stuff that I connect with is the stuff I connect with. And this is a good book. And if this is like for you especially, it's probably like essential. It's probably an essential read for you, you know, even more than it is, you know, for me, this electrician that you know, I got a podcast.
No, y'all got a podcast, man. Y'all be talking some real stuff too, man. So
yeah,
I mean, like, like I said, it's about self growth. So like, I want to read this because like you really don't know until you face what you're going through and you really say that this happened. Then can you really fully understand how you have reacted to it? You kind of get what I'm saying? Nobody fully wants to take on that this happened. I did this.
Yeah.
Well, then you will never fully understand why, you know what I'm saying, why it happened, or, you know, how to fix it, or like, you know, the damage it really caused. So like,
yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy because the book even breaks down like people suppressing those memories. Like the book talks about like where that comes from, like what that is, like people completely forgetting trauma that they went through, like completely just forgetting it. You know, specifically it's a story about this kid that was like, you know, molested by like a preacher, a priest, a Catholic priest. He was molested by a priest and he testified. The priest, you know, went, you know, did time in jail. But the lawyer, one of the lawyers came back and said that they can't quantify his testimony because of his memories. Like they can't quantify it. But the judge wound up, and I'm definitely butchering the story, but the judge wound up saying like, nah, this priest gonna stay in jail. His memories do matter. They do count or whatever like that. Cause it, you know, cause he didn't remember every
detail
aspect. Some stuff he put so far back in his brain that he never wanted to go back to it. So definitely a good book. That one. Definitely a good book.
Dang.
Definitely a good book.
Nah, man.
Right, we got one more thing to do. Dang, man.
What's up, man?
We got a TV show, man.
Oh yeah, man. We got
Episode 2.
Yeah, man.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
You want to start?
No,
off?
you go ahead, man. You got to do your little spiel, man. Go ahead.
I don't really have a spill, honestly. I'm kind of thinking y'all got no spill. But I ain't got no spill, man. But Day of Days, right? Day of Days. That's episode 2. Band of Brothers, episode 2, Day of Days, right? So again, the opening interview pulled me in, right? Where they talk about putting a faith in the training, right? When you in the worst possible predicament, right? So they jumping out of airplanes while the airplane's getting hit by missiles, bombs, whatever, right? But they gotta they like, he's like, all right, let's just like, I just know we've been trained on this. So let's just fall to the training. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we might have been trained on whatever. Like they might have been throwing water balloons at whatever. Like we getting shot. Like wings is falling off this plane. It's fire. People was on fire, bro. You know, and it's like, boom. It's still time to operate like we've been trained. We talk about it when it comes to like DC. You know what I mean? We talk about it like it's like, yo, we know we've been trained on this. We've been trained on it, you know, under the leadership of like qualified trainers, but when them embers really, you know what I'm saying? When that fire really hitting, is different. You know what I mean? But like into the episode, the opening sequence was amazing. It was amazing. And this was a 01 TV show, man. It was amazing, gripping. It was intimate still. It was detailed. Like the amount of attention to detail they pay to this show, Band of Brothers. I don't know if you ever saw that, Joe, but Band of Brothers.
I remember it. I didn't.
Yeah, when it was out, right? It was something I never watched either. But the amount of attention that they pay to like the detail is crazy in this show, man. It's like you're there almost. Like I couldn't believe it. Then a couple things. So this was primarily a battle episode, right? It was more battle than mostly anything else, with some interaction and character development. But like the fact that, all right, so now again you failed at your training, but then y'all did y'all drop and y'all plane got hit. So y'all lost items. You don't have half the shit that you packed up to have with you to go into war because y'all lost items on a drop, right? That was crazy. That hit me. You know what I'm saying? The dude that almost cried in the beginning too when he was telling the story, and he was like, "Yeah, we lost a lot of good people." Yeah, that hit me. But watching this show though, I can't lie. I mean, this is our Martin Luther King Day episode, and we did talk a lot about culture, and we did talk a lot about race. But watching this show, it did give me a lot of credence to why Spike Lee wanted to make Miracle at St. Anna, um, because it wasn't that diverse. Um, and I'm not saying that the show wasn't that diverse and they could have made it more diverse. Maybe those units really weren't that diverse, in that time period or whatever like that. So I'm happy to see Spike Lee did, talk about the Buffalo Soldiers. It's obvious differences between TV shows from now and back in '01 though, because it don't matter even if the unit wasn't diverse. If they made that show now, they gonna throw a couple black soldiers in there. You're gonna get some LGBT. You probably get a couple LGBTQ characters in there. You're gonna get some Asian Pacific Islander characters in there. They're gonna like make the team diverse because that's the time we live in right now. But basically, I'm not saying that the situation then, World War II wasn't like. I'm not saying that's far fetched. It could have been a group of 45 white guys. You know what I'm saying? Like just all the same race. And then even in that unit, they was like busting jokes at each other. The dude was from Pennsylvania. He's calling him a Quaker, and like it was even like still some, But I realized that the show opened up, and now Winters is narrating. Lieutenant Winters is the narrator of the show. That hit me. Another thing that hit me I like was at the end. So at the end of the episode, so this episode's about a battle, right? As soon as they get to Normandy, they doing a battle. They trying to take over like an operating area, the enemy operating area. And the awards, they showed the awards that the dudes got for that battle at the end of the show. When the episode was over. That was a great touch to show those awards that those dudes got. And then they also showed you at the end of the episode that these dudes, whatever they did, like they were pioneering like different types of assaults, things that got taught later in school to other, military members coming up in school. Like these things was the first time it wasn't like they was using somebody else's blueprint. Like they were creating the blueprint for war, or whatever. And then it's how easily you could bond and lose somebody. Like, beginning of the episode, you see people meeting each other for the first time and figuring out where somebody from. Oh shit, I know you from here. We play ball together. And then the end of the episode, this dude's dead.
Yeah.
The end of the episode, this dude's dead. And that's like a crazy thing about connections when it comes to the military. So that they some of the things that stood out about. Again, the writing is always good. The action was really good. This don't look like a show at all. It looked like a movie. And for us to be 20 years removed from the show, man, it looked like it was made like just 2 weeks ago or something like that. So I'm looking forward to episode 3, looking forward to more character development. Again, this was more about the battle. Some of the character stuff I might have like didn't catch it. I had to watch it over, but this was a good episode.
Yeah. So,
a lot more action than episode 1.
Hey, so what I got out of it, man, from watching the last episode to this episode was the fact of, man, like the thought process of you're dropping into battle. Like the movie showed it in episode 2 where they pretty much came out of clouds under fire. Like I'm talking about time the plane was like, it was smooth, everything was going, and all of a sudden, man, you got, missiles, they getting fired upon, they part of the ship exploding, people catching on fire, like Damo said. It was like all type of shit that was going on. But when these people jump out of these planes, man, you're jumping into war. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bullets are flying as you coming down on your parachutes into war. Now, when you want to talk about a mindset, that's a mindset right there. So what you jumping into, and the things that's going on at that point in time, man, was crazy. But they always, like Damo said, they did fall back to their training though. They was trying to find landmarks. They was trying to find certain things. And then you losing things. You got a radio man, don't have a radio. You got a guy that hit the ground. He ain't got his he ain't got his gun. You know what I mean? He ain't got nothing to defend himself with. So it was crazy though. About the mindset. And then once they found their landmarks, they started finding finding other people that was from different platoons. You know what I mean? They was getting together trying to go to a certain point. But I tell you, man, you had to fall back on your training, because how would you get from point A to point B? Like they didn't know. They had to drop early, because what they was doing was they was going to drop at a certain point. Early. Then they kind of know where they at. But once all the bullets start flying and stuff, they had to jump early. so they didn't know where the hell they
Yeah.
was at. So that was a big deal right there, man. And then he ended up they couldn't find the character, they couldn't find his CO, so then he had to become, the commanding officer and things like that. So that was some good stuff, man. Then just the way the interaction between everybody was kind of different too. Like, they was calling each other names, and it was a lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff going on, man. But it was a good show, right? You're right, man. Damo, this is the from the time, like, a real war story. This is like a real like war type story, man. People, like, dude got shot in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, it was all type, it was all type of shit that was happening, man. Like, it was like some
yeah. He's like, you think this gonna get me sent home?
Yeah,
And he was mad.
yeah.
I thought he wanted to go home. He
Yeah.
was mad. Like,
So yeah, man.
yeah, that
It
was
was pretty good, man. I didn't get to the war part, man, because time I see start writing that the movie is over, that was it for me, man. I clicked it off, so I didn't get to the to the war.
Oh, you ain't get to see the
Yeah,
okay.
to the-
Yeah. They showed you. Yeah, they showed you who won. A lot of them, like 10
Yeah,
of them, won
that's
awards
good.
for that battle.
That's good, man.
Like most of them. So, and I'm happy that the show is highlighting, these guys like that.
But one
know
more
what I
thing I
mean?
want to highlight was, if you ever get to watch it, Joe, man, in the
Mhm.
beginning of each one of these shows, they had like the guys was part of it talk. And man,
Oh.
hey man,
look at
it's
that.
like yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
hard-
big
yeah, that's the gripping part.
Their
Yeah.
mindset, though, they had like the first episode, they
Mhm.
talked about it a little bit. Their mindset, man, they just wanted to go to war. They didn't care. They wanted
Man.
help. They was volunteering to do this stuff, man. That was crazy.
That's deep. Like, that's deep buy-in, man. Like, to have that heart like that,
Mhm.
man, knowing that you're gonna be like jumping out there in front of, man, ain't no.
Yeah.
Now I think about it, I'd be like, I always ask myself, could I have did that? And I really honestly don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
Knowing that, like, you
Yeah.
gonna jump out when people are shooting at you, you won't, like, right then and there, you don't even know if you're gonna make it to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you might not even, as soon as they open, like, I'm just like, I don't know if I can do that, man.
Send me and my team in. We make us a base. We put a plan together. We go execute. Man, you jumping into
you jump that
You be hard pressed. You hard pressed to find somebody jump out a plane just on a regular. Like you're not jumping out a plane on a regular.
No,
like you jumping out of planes.
That
like they got bullets big enough that's tearing up the
yeah,
plane.
that's what I'm like,
out.
man. Like that's hard, man. That's mental. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to call that, man. Like, it's a whole nother nother level now. Like, I'm just glad times have evolved to where we don't have to do that type of fighting anymore. You know what I mean? But like, but still on that same aspect, man. It's just like, to me, that's the heart of bravery. Like, when you go to that point, there's no coming back mentally from that.
Yeah,
there's no.
And you're ready for the consequences. Your consequences, you ain't really caring about no more. That's
no, you're not. You're not. But then,
you sign
when they get back, if you made it, you're like, you're not normal. You're not. There's no normal. There's no normal.
Person,
but
right?
you're not the same person. You have like changed forever. And I had an uncle who was in the who did that. He was like a gunner on helicopters, and they would go help pick up people in war. Were they in Vietnam? But they would go down and pick up bodies while they were being injured. But he was like the gunner on the machine. But he always shows me like his bullet wound where he's gotten hit, and he knew they were shooting at him, but they had to go back down there anyway. And I'm like, but I talked to him, and mentally, like, a lot of stuff he couldn't process. He died like last year, 2 years ago. He couldn't process, man. He just couldn't, like, his mind was not the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I hear stories of him, like, my aunt would still tell me, like, sometimes she couldn't sleep in the bed with him because he'd flip out. You know what I mean? From nightmares, or, like the PTSD, like, or he couldn't be in certain areas anymore because of the flashbacks and things like that. And those are the things I think about, like, coming back from that, man. Like, you go back to a family where, like, some of them can't even cope with being in the house with their family anymore. Because they flip out, like, you know what I mean? They just can't be there and things like that. And their life changes, man. Like, that's something, like, there's a price for everything, but that's a high price to pay, man, for what you did
for your country, right?
Yeah, that's rough.
Man.
It is.
Woo.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so like I said again, man, I honestly think we could do this all
I know, man.
day.
Look,
But look, I want to tell you straight, like I appreciate you for coming up and talking to us, especially short notice. We appreciate everything that you're doing out there, from the podcast to the fitness to just the whole overall story. We served together too. We ain't really talk about much of us serving together,
nah,
but we had
we
great
did.
times. We had fun. We laughed. We joked. Always a good time with you.
Nah,
We had it, and then you gave us this a benchmark for permission to speak freely. That's our first over 3 hour
is it? Oh
episode.
shit.
Yeah,
So yeah, we passed the 3 hour
3
mark.
hours,
We
man.
definitely passed the 3 hour mark. So yeah, I want you to know,
Nah,
like, I appreciate you and
nah.
thank you for
I,
being on the
I
podcast.
appreciate this too, man. Like I said, man, you two, I'll never forget you guys. Serve with you guys, man. I mean, I just remember you guys were like my safety net going down to engineering, man. Like I really enjoyed myself down there. It was a safe spot for me to go because anywhere else in the ship, I felt like I couldn't be myself. And so having the ability for y'all's personalities, you know what I'm saying, and doing what y'all doing, being great leaders, I learned a lot from you guys on how to interact with a lot of the sailors. I learned I got from you guys from knowing the job like you do. And I learned I got just like your patience and the things that you guys exhibit on a daily basis. And so, I know you don't really get the chance to talk a lot, and you probably don't hear it much, but I appreciate your, what you guys taught me during those times, even when working with me, teaching me things. And so I know because sometimes it can be like it takes a long time for me to learn engineering, just want my thing, man. Like so, but
Yeah.
I got an English degree, not that engineering crap. But I man, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys, man, and I love what you guys are doing with the episode. Honestly, with this season, what you guys, the podcast you have going on, man. I do tune in like here and there, and it's like it's good stuff. And I like to see that you are empowering other sailors to speak, to have a voice. Like sometimes when they come on here, like and just to get it out, man. You're sharing everybody else's story, and that's important. That's very important. You're giving people a place in the world, and I appreciate that, and I like that. So, I'll do this anytime, man.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for me too, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast also. And I like, inspirational stuff, man,
Yeah.
and the things that you're doing, man, like not only like from a health standpoint, but talking to people and trying to have an outlook on why you're trying to get to this point,
Yeah.
that's all good stuff. And then back to the ship and us being stationed together, man. I like the conversations, man. We always had like real
Yeah.
conversation. We didn't just talk about no Navy stuff and talk about engineering stuff. We had
Yeah.
like no
Mhm.
shit conversations, about stuff and about life
Mhm.
and stuff, man. So most definitely enjoyed that, man, and I most definitely enjoyed you on the podcast today.
No doubt, man.
Yeah. Hey, Damon, the Niners won.
Yeah, man. I ain't want to talk too much about it, man. But I'm glad you said that, man.
I
You
know, look
brought
at
that
it.
back up. Yeah. Yeah, man, we won, man. We
Yeah.
headed to Green Bay, man, and and this is what I tell people, man, that's football fans and stuff, that we are built to beat any team. We might not go to the Super Bowl, but if it's any team out there that can beat these powerhouse teams right now, it's the 49ers, and we the 6th seed because we run the ball and we play good defense. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Like, and Dallas Cowboys. My wife is a Dallas Cowboy fan, man. She ain't talked to me for a little while last night, man.
That means she used to
Um,
disappointment then, because
I know, right? Every year,
every year, boy.
she was. Hey, look, man. Hey, look. She probably mad. She probably mad by me saying this, man. But she was no shit upset. I was like,
Mhm.
why you mad?
That's why I like Cowboys fans, boy.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like they got
she was
amnesia or something. They
mad.
forget that last year they did this, last year they did this, and last year they did like they forget. I like
Oh,
Cowboys
man.
fans.
She is too much, man. She was funny,
That's
man.
funny, man. So
Shout out to Ellen,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Shout out to Ellen.
True fans, man. True fans.
yeah, man.